Some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
we bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Siku zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavyojiri.
Kuyajua hayo mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwengineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutaki shaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako. Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
All right, fresh and new. Good morning, welcome to the program. This is Good Morning Kenya. Welcome to the program on KBC Channel 1 on this 13th day of August 2024. How are you doing? So far, so good. My name is Victor Olo. Welcome to the program. Now, later on at exactly 7, I'll be talking about the issue of the new cabinet secretaries taking over the offices officially this week. Some of them started that yesterday, but we know they're all of this week. Most of them will be going through the orientation and just getting acclimatized with what is happening in their various dockets. So today I want to talk about the President's Take 2. The first reconstitution, the reconstitution of the cabinet happened. So what is now in store for the president? That is President's Take 2 in as far as his cabinet is concerned. With a new cabinet in place, is it going to be same old rhetorics or same monkeys in the same forest? What are some of the expectations? Stay with us. Talk to us on our social media handles at Victor Lo. I'll be joined by Gabriel Kagombe, who is Member of Parliament of Gatundu South. I'll also be joined by Wanjiru Madhai Masi, who is an advocate of the High Court, as well as Peter Francis Masara, representing the great people of Suna West. That is coming up at 7 a.m. Meanwhile, we have got a lady here.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to have you on the show today, and a very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and this is Good Morning Kenya, coming to you live from the broadcasting house. We appreciate that you have started off your day with us right here, up early, you know, just to get to know what is happening around the world and in Kenya specifically, and everything going on from politics. And today being a Tuesday, I'll be tackling entrepreneurship. And on entrepreneurship, I'll be having two ladies with me on the show. I'll be having Nelly Mulema and Queen Katembu. Queen Katembu is the Deputy President, Gospel Blooms International, and we'll just be looking around the area of entrepreneurship. So you want to stay tuned for that later on at around 9 a.m. Mike?
Good morning, Vivian, and good morning to everyone who is watching Good Morning Kenya. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. My name is Mike Migu. Remember, you can talk to us through all our social media platforms and also on our website, which is www.kbc.co.ke. Let me start your day with a quote. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Stay tuned for more. In the meantime, Ray, how are you doing?
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for that particular felicitation or greeting. I hope that you are okay. Just to bring you up to speed with what is happening, we are already done with the Olympics from Paris. That is the 2024 Olympics. But come the 28th of August, then we're going to have another global showpiece, and this is the Paralympics. Question is, are we going to be broadcasting live? Well, so wait and see. I'm Regina Manyara. Now let's bring you up to speed with our stories that have been making headlines. President William Ruto says the government has entered into a partnership with Kuwait to help build and improve schools in the country. Speaking in Nyamira County during his 3-day tour of the greater Gusii region, the head of state said the Gulf country has already contributed 1.4 billion shillings to improve 68 schools in the county alone, pledging to have a university set up in the area before January of 2025.
Governor, how are you, my friend? How are you, SG? How are you, my dear?
The president, who was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, kicked off his 3-day tour of Gusii region in Nyamira County, laying a foundation stone for the Kiabonyoru High School dormitory, where Ruto revealed the strides the government has made with its international partners to boost the education sector in the country.
Serikali ya Kenya na serikali ya Kuwait sasa tumekubaliana na tuko na pesa bilioni 1.4 1.4 billion shillings ya watu wa Nyamira kuwajengea mashule watoto wenu.
The head of state pledging the construction of 183 new classrooms, 44 laboratories and dormitories to enhance facilities in 68 schools across the county.
Wakiwemo katikati watoto wa Nyamira wanapata nafasi mzuri ya kusoma wakiwa na vifaa ya kutosha, ndio tukiajiri walimu zaidi. Vile tunaenda kuajiri baadaye mwakani, tutaajiri walimu wengine 20,000.
Ruto committing to have a new university set up at Kiabonyoru, North Mugirango before January.
Katika ile mpango sasa iko hapa mbele, ili tuweze kuanza kujenga hii university, mimi naenda kutafuta milioni 500 ya kwanza ya kuanzisha hiyo university hapa.
The president further rallied support for key projects under Better, noting that despite the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the administration will ensure the promises are kept.
Huyu Nyamoko hakufanya makosa kupiga yes. Alipiga yes kwa sababu program ambayo nimekujia hapa leo ndio iweze kusonga mbele, ndio tuweze kupata pesa ya kuendesha mradi wetu wa mambo ya stima.
Ruto said the appointment of a broad-based cabinet that included members of the opposition did not mean that there was a coalition agreement with the ODM party.
Waswahili wanasema umoja ni nini? Si umoja ni nguvu jameni? Na wasihi na waomba tuungane ndio tupate nguvu ya kuendesha Nyamira mbele, kuendesha Kisii na Nyamira mbele na kuendesha taifa letu la Kenya mbele.
Nimelete salamu mingi kutoka watu ya Mount Kenya, mumekubali? Unajua nyinyi na sisi ni watu moja. Biashara ya matatu karibu mmefukuza, sisi tumekubali.
The president further called for unity and urged leaders to work with the citizenry, as it has been the main plea from Kenyans for the last 1 month.
So we are all united. Na ndio sababu mimi vile vile nimeunganisha Wakenya wote kwa kuunda serikali ambayo inalete Wakenya wote pamoja.
Kika on one of the dailies this morning just talking about the president's tour, and this is just but a sample of what the scribes in this particular daily have captured as stories making headlines in the last 12-18 hours, if you like. And it reads, President's back on sunroof dishing goodies. We'll be giving you details as we proceed. Now, as the induction of cabinet secretaries is underway, the new National Treasury and Economic Planning Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has pledged to implement various cost-cutting measures and payroll reforms. The initiative, according to CS Mbadi, will involve linking government payroll to an integrated financial management information system to eliminate ghost workers.
Good morning. I'm seeing smiling. In his farewell address, outgoing Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, highlighted persistent negative shocks and inconsistent policies as part of several challenges that plagued Kenya's economy over the past 22 months.
We need to understand how the informal market works. And if we understand how informal market works, how can we raise taxes through the informal market without distorting the market? We want to come up with a tax policy that is predictable in terms of revenue, that is predictable in terms of the manufacturing sector and the production sector. Second, Kenya must exit the grey list.
Mbadi says the journey ahead is undoubtedly challenging, as the ministry will have to adopt innovative solutions to sustain revenue streams amid scarce resources and absence of a current Finance Act in place.
Clearly, if we cannot integrate our payroll system from the state departments to IFMIS, which is our parent accounting system, and all the way to KRA, then we don't know what we are doing. So anyone who is standing on the way in that reform, please give way. We must prudently and efficiently use public resources.
Elsewhere, Environment Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says there is need to focus on balancing economic growth with environmental preservation to ensure Kenya's continued leadership in sustainable practices.
We will continue to strengthen our climate action agenda, promote green growth, and ensure sustainable natural resources management. Our ministry will support effective coordination of climate action by all actors.
They both spoke when they officially took over in their respective ministries.
We're keeping tabs on that as the Judiciary has unveiled an initiative to address the severe overcrowding in prisons while launching the decongestion initiative at the Nairobi Remand and Allocation Security Prison in Industrial Area. Chief Justice Martha Koome says this will help ease strains on resources in the prison system, which undermines the rehabilitation of offenders. Koome said the Judiciary will adopt community service orders to replace incarceration for eligible convicts.
Some 376 out of 4,000 offenders at Industrial Area Prison in Nairobi are set to be released in the first phase of a decongestion initiative launched by Chief Justice Martha Koome. In the first phase, the initiative will focus on re-evaluating bail and bond terms for individuals who have not yet been convicted but are currently held in remand.
And we want to start with this cohort that we are releasing to showcase that actually even free boards can work, isn't it? We also want to release those who have qualified for CSO, community service order, to show to the public and to show to the communities that you can be engaged usefully.
The second phase of the initiative will involve an ongoing review of sentences by High Court judges to achieve a sustainable prison population, with Nairobi's prisons housing 9,458 inmates, with nearly half being unconvicted individuals.
And when I hear somebody has been here for 11 years waiting for trial, I tend to think that person has served the sentence. Therefore, we will take all those cases. I'm told 10% of them, they have overstayed here, so we'll take them. And within this program, those cases will be dealt with also. Those stagnant cases of many years will also be dealt with.
With some prison facilities operating at double their intended capacity, worsening the overcrowding crisis, the initiative proposes enhancing plea bargaining to speed up trials, diverting children to rehabilitative programs, and offering community service for petty offenders instead of short prison sentences.
Decongestion exercise shall no doubt contribute significantly to humane treatment of offenders and respect for their inherent human rights and dignity.
Hapa utakuta pengine ni maswala ya wale walikuwa wanafanya biashara zao ndogo ndogo, ama pengine amekutwa amelewa, ama pengine amekutwa anauza chang'aa, basi yako hapa. Akitoka hapa Chief Justice sasa anakuja anakuwa sasa ule mbaya zaidi kuliko vile alifika hapa. Maana anafundishwa na wale wamefanya makosa makubwa makubwa.
I go to Langata Women's Prison so many times to release women who have been sentenced for hawking. Taken there, the fine is 5, 10, 20,000, and they don't have it. And then they're serving 3 months to a year. And it's really, really sad. And I think we need to find a way to really decongest and also be humane. Because it's really some of the people that are serving sentences here are really suffering.
Even though the government is implementing measures to reduce prison overcrowding, the facilities still house approximately 62,000 inmates, far exceeding their capacity of 30,000.
To the corridors of justice now, the government has received the nod to implement the issuance of the Maisha Card third generation number. This is after the High Court Monday set aside conservatory orders issued on the 25th of July to halt the process. Elsewhere, Directorate of Criminal Investigation has been granted 7 days to hold 2 suspects arrested allegedly with explosives at the gate of a businessman Jimmy Wanjigi's home in Muthaiga.
It is a win for the government after the courts okayed it to continue rolling out the Maisha Card number. Justice Lawrence Mugambi said there was a clear demonstration that the suspension of the registration of Kenyans has a direct adverse effect on the population. Further, the court stated the petitioner's allegation of a violation of their rights was subject to proof. The application had been filed by Haki na Sheria Initiative. Elsewhere, 2 employees of businessman Jimmy Wanjigi will be guests of the state for the next 7 days. This is after the court was informed that there was sufficient reasons to detain the 2 Duncan Othiambo and Calvin Ocheng pending investigations.
I, however, find that the period which was requested, which was 14 days, to be excessive for verification of the identity of the respondents and for the forensic examination of the relevant items which are already in the possession of the investigators. The court will therefore allow the application for remand of the respondents for a period of 7 working days.
However, through their lawyer Willis Otieno, the court was urged to review its decision, saying that the state had no reasons to detain them since the state already recovered the explosives near Wanjigi's residence in Muthaiga.
So the state, having taken that position, the highest police officer in the country, the IG, has publicly communicated and recovered this from Jimmy Wanjigi's residence. This gentleman should now be released and let Jimmy Wanjigi and the state deal. And he's ready to deal.
Ruth Wambui for Good Morning Kenya.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has raised concerns over the increasing number of fraudsters posing as detectives of the commission to con unsuspecting Kenyans. EACC spokesperson Eric Gumbi, who was in Kwale County, said the fraudsters are fond of purporting to be conducting investigations, urging Kenyans to verify the identity of the individuals and refrain from the culture of bribery. Gumbi says the commission has encountered over 300 cases where individuals pretend to be officers of the EACC in this year alone. They have mainly targeted state officers, county officials, school principals, and national government administration officers, as well as private business operators. The con artists have perfected their trade in Kakamega, Bungoma, and Gusii counties.
The Commission is surprised at the very high level of readiness with which most Kenyans are willing to bribe their way out of perceived trouble. This is manifest in the cases of imposters that have been reported so far, where many people report after they have already been conned by these imposters. So let us embrace the culture of seeking to verify the authenticity of any alleged detective who seeks to engage a public officer or any other member of the public on a matter of investigation. EACC does not do some of the things that have been done by these imposters, such as summoning suspects to hotels and other places that are not official. EACC.
Now that particular question, that particular story begs the question, then how can members of the public actually identify a fraudster from an officer working under EACC? And secondly, if these particular impersonators have perfected their trade in Kakamega, Bungoma, and Gusii counties, why so? Maybe that's just a rhetoric or something that we can follow up on. Taking us to business, Kenya is among 9 Eastern African countries set to import grains worth 52 billion shillings from neighboring countries to offset domestic deficits. East African Grain Council Executive Director Gerald Masila says maize, beans, soybeans, wheat, rice are key grains to be traded.
Adverse weather conditions witnessed this year caused havoc on farmlands in eastern and southern African countries such as Kenya, Zambia, Malawi, Burundi, Mozambique, Somalia, Southern Sudan, and Rwanda. This is projected to have a negative impact on food harvest this year and adversely affect their ability to feed their population. The East Africa Grain Council projects that affected countries are likely to import their food deficits from neighboring countries.
As part of this workshop, we would like to resolve some of these outstanding issues that are preventing trade between these countries. And then we also hope to facilitate business-to-business deals so that the private sector takes an active role in addressing this impending food security situation.
Masila says so far countries within the region have signed trade deals worth 52 billion shillings for 748,854 metric tons of grains such as maize, beans, wheat, rice and soybeans.
We have signed agreements of 106,000 metric tons valued at $88 million if we make to get those beans to move across the borders. If we make them move across the borders. Rice, 20,000 metric tons valued at 24 million shillings. Wheat, 800 tons valued at $364,000 quite significant. In total volume, just under 500,000 tons.
Delegates at the 2-day public-private dialogue and business-to-business forum held in Dar es Salaam called for elimination of non-tariff barriers as well as harmonization of trade policies to promote seamless grain trade across borders.
Isiolo County is finalizing operationalization of the Isiolo Export Abattoir, which has a capacity to handle 10,000 goats, 500 cows and 300 camels per day. Speaking during that particular symposium in Isiolo, Marsabit and Samburu Investment Conference, Isiolo Governor Abdi Ibrahim underscored the need to increase investments in the livestock value chain, which is a backbone of the economy of that particular region.
Construction of the Isiolo Export Abattoir, which kicked off 16 years ago, is now in the final stages of completion.
Additionally, cargo flights for fresh meats and other value-added products from our modern abattoir, which will soon be inaugurated by the President in the next few days, it is at 98% now.
The abattoir is expected to create over 300 jobs and provide a lucrative export market for the livestock products, as Isiolo Governor Abdi Ibrahim explains.
In this era of climate change, it is crucial we build dependable livestock production systems that allow smallholders, livestock farmers to maximize the benefit from the animals.
We are leveraging our collective expertise to support entrepreneurs to find their solutions to these challenges while increasing incomes for northern Kenya.
He says there is a growing demand for fresh and processed camel milk products, both domestically and internationally, urging investors to establish a camel milk processing factory.
This move will not only provide a ready market for our farmers, but also create much needed job for our youth.
Samburu County is in the process of leasing Nomotio Abattoir that will serve at least 4 livestock markets. They were speaking at the Isiolo, Marsabit and Samburu Investment Conference that highlighted business opportunities in animal feed, breeding techniques, tourism, renewable energy, fishing and mining.
We take a quick breather here in the headlines. We'll be back with more, including what is happening in the sporting arena. Do not go away.
If you like, take me to high court, sue me, or take me to court of appeal.
Well, until everything comes back to normal, we just have to make do.
Teacher, that is unacceptable. This is not what we signed up for. This environment is worse than approved school.
You mean you're still bruised over that mad incident? Grow up.
Well, did you have a mad fight?
I wish I could do that.
If you ask any man if he has gossiped before, he will answer with a loud vehement no. Yes. But of course we know that is not true. Men gossip.
Siku zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavyojiri.
Kuyajua hayo mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwengineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutakishaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako. Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
Welcome back. You're tuned to In the Headlines on Good Morning Kenya. I'm Regina Manyara. Now, Kenyans have been urged to embrace electric vehicles in a bid to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the transport sector. U.S. Ambassador Meg Whitman reaffirmed the commitment of the United States in supporting Kenya's transition to e-mobility, a key step towards decarbonizing the country's transport sector.
Asset Financial, Mogo is one of the 3 e-mobility firms that received 3.9 billion shillings in financing from the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. Mogo has invested 1.3 billion shillings of this funding into expanding its EV financing portfolio, supporting Kenya Green Mobility initiatives by providing essential zero-emission vehicle financing to individuals and businesses in the transportation sector.
Development Finance Corp that Teddy and Viv work for is the financing arm of the United States government. And so they have financed Mogo and Ampersand and Rome, right? Mm-hmm. And so we work very closely with them to identify opportunities in Kenya for investment. And obviously this is one. And so I'm actually right now in the process of seeing the most recent 5 investments by DFC, of which Mogo is one. So we're super excited about this. I think this is a big opportunity for Kenya and frankly for the boda drivers.
U.S. Ambassador Meg Whitman says investing in the e-mobility sector will create high-quality jobs for Kenyans in an overall strategy to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and modernizing the country's extensive transport system, especially in urban areas.
Over the years, over the last 5 years in the country, we're happy that we have more than 120,000 customers that we financed either boda or a car or gave a loan, a logbook loan to some customers. Talking about the future, we see great opportunities in the country. In EV space, electric bodas alone, we expect to finance more than 10,000 bodas, electric bodas, over the next 2 years. So we see that the market is growing.
The United Nations Environment Programme estimates that a global transition to electric motorcycles could prevent 11 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions by 2050, saving motorcycle owners a combined 5 trillion shillings due to lower fuel and maintenance costs.
Hope that more players will come in to compete. In terms of, I think it's good for everyone. And we have certain advantages. We've been in this market for many years. We know the border space. We have a wide network. We opened our first showroom in Nairobi.
Equity Group made 28.5 billion shillings in net profits during the first 6 months of this year, representing an 11.8% growth, which is driven by higher interest income. The lender increased its loan loss provision by 48.3% to 10.5 billion after the gross non-performing loans rose to 119.9 billion shillings. Net interest income grew by 22% to 84.8 billion shillings from 69.8 billion shillings reported over the same period last year. This comprised 53.5 billion shillings in interest income on loans and advances and 28.3 billion shillings in interest income from investment in government securities.
Banks are at 8, we're at 7. Despite having a lower cost of funds, at net interest margin, we're still doing poorly because of our decision, a differentiating decision that you start with your customer. You give them an umbrella when there is rain, not when there is no rain.
The gross non-performing loans increased from 97.5 billion shillings to 119.9 billion shillings, and this prompted the lender to increase the loan provisioning by 48.3% to 10.5 billion shillings.
Real estate, manufacturing, building and construction, transport and communications. So it's rather broad-based.
Q1 interest rates were at 11.4%. We then deliberately, as the pressures on interest rate came through, we ensured that we lag that behind so that we get to support the customer to where the average loan interest now is at 13%.
This is in addition to a 12.5% increase in staff costs to 16 billion shillings to drive up the total operating expenses by 25.7% to 60 billion shillings. Just like was the case last year, the listed firm has not declared any interim dividend.
It's at the ratio level that you then see how well positioned the bank is. Coverage, as we've said, above 70%. Cost of risk because of provisions. And then capital adequacy, almost 500 basis points.
Plans are underway to build the capacity of micro, small and medium enterprises on construction strengths and technical capacities to equip them to tap opportunities in the construction space. Now, Public Works Director Oliver Okello says training will mainly target those who are already in the industry. Here are the details.
The Centre has actually gotten approval from Treasury, and it is going to be executed as a public-private partnership. So there's a committee which is handling that, and they'll develop this centre to be constructed at Konza.
Part of the items to be discussed in the conference in Mombasa will be sensitization, awareness and training on the recently launched National Building Code 2024, which is currently on its transition phase. It was launched on 17th of July here in Nairobi.
And you see, construction now has moved to the next level. We are beyond just the tech computer. Now we are also dealing with tech in terms of AI, in terms of artificial intelligence. And this starts from the point of contracting, also the use of robotics. We have robotics in the construction industry now.
Now to usher matters sports, just to draw your attention to one of the headlines in one of the dailies this morning that Victor is going to be perusing through this morning, and that's the scandal of Kenya's athletics talent drain. Just to read the kicker there, Exodus insiders at Athletics Kenya could be aiding the transfer of young, talented athletes from Kenya to other countries for personal benefit with the lure of better pay. That's just the kicker on that particular daily. Remember, right after this, we're going to be having just a sneak peek on what has been carrying the day in the last 12 hours and what you're likely to wake up to as news. This comes as the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, that is NOC President Paul Tergat, has called for the embrace of emerging sports, reiterating that the committee's commitment to support the new sports. In the just concluded 2024 Olympic Games, 4 sports made their debut, including breaking, that is breakdance if you like, that has history in New York, skateboarding, surfing and sports climbing. Maybe it's a high time that we focused on that. Let's have a sneak peek onto what has been making headlines in the sporting arena locally. Is that 23 professionals and amateur tennis coaches from 6 Eastern African countries are part of a free tennis coach clinic at Sedili Oval, led by celebrated tennis coach and former Scottish international Dr. Judy Murray, who is the mother of tennis ace Sir Andy Murray. Now, some of the topics covered during the free clinic included teaching tennis in small spaces, using different pieces of equipment, and high-performance player development.
More than 20 tennis coaches from East Africa attended a clinic by former Scottish international Dr. Judy Murray, who is best known as parent and coach to 2 world tennis stars, Jamie Murray and Sir Andy Murray. 12 Kenyan coaches and 11 from Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, Congo and Tanzania participated in the training. Some of the topics covered during the free clinics included high-performance mentoring of teenagers and also skills in delivering tennis for large numbers. In addition to the free tennis clinics, the event also included engagements with parents on possible sports scholarships and college placements in the United States. Meanwhile, Benin were crowned the champions in the 3rd edition of the Africa Tchoukball Championship after beating Cameroon 60-35 in the final held at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. Kenya finished 3rd after losing 41-60 to Cameroon. The continental competition attracted 22 countries from across Africa, showcasing the best talent in Tchoukball.
Our national team is actually made of young people because they're really looking far into the future. We want to build a strong base for our players. And then we are going to categorize them from M18, M16, and the adults players.
We want to have the local events. Try also can be go on.
Yeah, so the prayer, there will be a hope. So that's why they train for it.
At the same time, the Kenyan Taekwondo team is in dire need of financial support for their travel to the ITF East and Central Africa Taekwondo Championship, set to be held on the 22nd of this month in Zanzibar. Kenya had a fully fit squad of 100 players, but the number has since been reduced to less than 50 players, drawn from different counties across the country. The team is now pleading with the Ministry of Sports to support their travel so that they can compete in the regional tournament only 10 days away.
We are not sure that either this team will be able to go to participate because they don't have equipment, and also we don't have funds, so that is our biggest fear.
Elsewhere, the Bingwa Fest 2024 Western Kenya edition marked 3 days of sports action and community celebration, with athletes from Kakamega and neighboring counties competing in athletics, football, 3-on-3 basketball and rugby. Janet Chepngetich was the standout performer, winning the 10,000 and 5,000 meter races. The 3-on-3 basketball men's final was won by local heroes Waingo, who beat Jao Garments, while the women's title went to SS, who defeated Snack Pick Buddies. Bungoma Stars FC clinched the men's football title, while Malimali FC won the women's title. The next leg will be held in Nyanza on August 22nd. Finally, more than 20 participants ran through 25 obstacles in the Mount Kenya forest that included a bell bound where one would slide and glide through the hay, a well swing, jumping over the fire, devil's beard where one would crawl under the net and slither their way to the end before mudslide and swimming through the muddy tunnels.
Our aim is to raise money to actually handle mental health awareness, and we're also inviting other partners who can also join us and help us in this wonderful campaign.
Ile time ama ile wakati umekuja ukaungana na sisi, unaweza tengeneza mwili ama mwili yako inakuanga sawa, that hata ukifanya kila kitu unasikia tu iko sawa.
The event was organized in a bid to promote mental health, conserve the ecosystem and sensitize residents on the importance of environmental conservation.
Paralympics begin on the 28th of August. So we're still in Mata Sports. Just to remind you also, football lovers, is that the EPL is back. Regina Manyara, I hand you over to Victor for the next segment under Good Morning Kenya. To keep it right here.
Welcome back. Good morning. All right, time for us to get into the political arena now and fight it out as Kenyans. Not literally so. All right, welcome. I'm Victor Olo. Welcome. It's 16 minutes past 7 a.m. Before we leave the house, I want to take you through what's making headlines in the front pages of our local dailies, as well as get into the topic of the day that is on people in politics. We'll be taking a look at the president's take two. After reshuffling his cabinet and reconstituting his cabinet, so to speak, we have got new entrants into his cabinet. Now, Kenyans are also optimistic that the new government is going to perform. Is it so, or lack of it? The question is, what are some of the expectations from Wanjiku? Are they going to perform as expected of them? What are some of the constitutional duties that they are expected to achieve as the cabinet? Remember, some of them, not some of them, but cabinet secretaries are political appointees. We've seen a number of them from the opposition joining Kenya Kwanza administration. The question is, so what are they going to do? Are they going to use the Kenya Kwanza manifesto? Are they going to use the opposition or ODM or Azimio manifesto, one thing is for sure, is that when or if you are a political appointee, if you're a cabinet secretary, then everything you have to do is inclined towards the president. I'll be having that discussion with the new cabinet in place. What are some of the expectations? Please talk to us at Victor Law at KBC Channel 1. Already in studio, I have Wakile, who is an advocate of the High Court. She is the only lady on set. Kagombe, Gabriel, joining me. There you have her. Mercy, many people do not know that name, Mercy.
Correct.
Wanjiru Madai.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
It's been a while.
I know.
You're well?
I'm back.
Good to see you.
I am lucky I survived the protest.
I can imagine.
Because I was one of the protesters.
I think I saw someone like you. I don't know whether that was you or your lookalike.
One cannot believe, but I'm glad to be counted as a part of a generation that fought for accountability in this country. Yes.
I came to realize that a majority of your colleagues in the profession also took part in that exercise. Why was it so?
Well, I mean, it went to the root of the right of a person arrested being fairly represented in court. And so what we saw is advocates volunteering to offer pro bono services at the police station and also in court to represent those who had been arrested unfairly, if I may add, following the protests. Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm also expecting Mheshimiwa Peter Masara actually joining me on set very shortly. Peter Masara is representing the great people of Suna West, as well as Gabriel Kagombe, also the legislator coming all the way from Gatundu South. They'll be joining me on set here shortly. Let me take you through the front page of the Daily Nation. Let me have it. There you go. But before you get that, I'm also told that there is a meeting of the legal minds in Mombasa this week. What is it? Is it an AGM or what is it all about?
It's just a normal annual conference that is held every year in Diani. I may not really have been privy to the theme of this particular conference. But I hope that they will deliberate on the way forward. On the trajectory that this country needs to take following the events of the protests. Yes, I hope that they end up addressing that issue.
Great. All right, on the front page of the Daily Nation, this is what you have. Scandal of Kenya's athletes' talent drain. That is athletics drain, talent drain. That's what you have here. Scandal of Kenya's athletics talent drain. We saw that during the Olympics, and a majority of Kenyans are taking their talent to other jurisdictions. Why so? I think that is one of the biggest questions that the new Cabinet Secretary for Sports and Youth Affairs, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, will be trying to tackle as to why that happens. But talking to some of them say that Athletics Kenya could be aiding in the transfer of young, talented athletes from Kenya to other countries. Is it the reason? We'll be taking a look at that, and I'm so sure Kipchumba Murkomen, all the way now from France after the Olympics, will be battling that big question. Why sports chiefs, however, say that they have no power to stop the shifting of allegiance. My question is, you can imagine if we had all these talents domiciled here in the country originally, we would be a country of overflowing talent. What do you think of that, Wakili? Because we saw these are young talented Kenyans, and by the time they took it to the podium or to the track or different disciplines in the Olympics, they had their moments to shine. I mean, this is a total case of brain drain and talent drain.
And I feel like the only crop of people who make us proud globally are actually the athletes. So it's sad that that is the one area that we're not investing in. I think as a country we need to really prioritize that area. It was such a shame to hear the reasoning behind why some of the athletes opted to represent other countries as opposed to their own. So I look forward to really critically looking into whether the incoming Cabinet Secretary for Sports will address that issue.
All right. So this is what we have here on the front page of the Standard newspaper of the Daily Nation. On the front page of the Standard, Ruto trains guns as PSs in shuffle. Again, who goes to stay? That is what is here. Who goes, who stays? After the radical surgery on the cabinet that saw 13 members dropped, the axe is about to land on principal secretaries, with those in the know saying that at least 15 will be dropped to pave way for a broad-based executive. It's not yet over until it is over. Audit report revelation, cheap edible oil deal stinks to high heavens. This is what we have here on the front page of the Standard newspaper. The Auditor General, in a special audit of on the move by the Kenya National Trading Corporation to import cooking oil, has blown the lead of that what could be a scam. Government bought 2.8 million jerrycans of oil, but only 2.5 were delivered. That's around 15 billion shillings facility was asked for, but 24 billion shillings given. As a result, the Auditor General wants heads to roll. That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Again, Wanjigi guard to be held in grenade probe. He is still in police custody. Tundu Lissu arrested before rally. And here we have it in terms of business. Equity Bank posts 29 billion shillings profit. That is in the financial year ending. How Kenya Heroes ruled Paris Games. In as far as sports is concerned. Again, President back on car sunroof, dishing goodies. That is, he's here. The president will be on a 3-day tour of Nyamira and Kisii counties. He was in Kisii County yesterday with the county governor, that is Simba Arati. President William Ruto was back at his best yesterday, addressing multiple crowds and making promises as he started his tour of the Kisii region. Azimio doesn't need Raila in opposition, Kalonzo declares. That is what I have here on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Wiper leader together with DAP-Ks, Junior Malo, say that they are capable of handling opposition politics after ODM leadership cost it up to the executive. That is, again, Politics 101, is it? That is something juicy to talk about. So the president is back at it again. PSS next to on Ruto chopping board as he sets to send over 15 of them parking. Sources say that President Ruto intends to reduce the number of PSS from 51 to less than 36. And now the president is consulting Raila and Mudavadi, who will propose some of the new appointees. That is on the fourth page of the Standard newspaper. And on the chopping board, the figure has it here that consolidating departments is also intended to streamline operations and improve efficiency. Fewer PSS will also allow for better oversight and enhanced accountability. Again, now, new and reshuffled PSS appointments are meant to strengthen political alliances. And finally, Raila and Mudavadi to propose some of the new names. All right, let's wait and see how it's going to happen in the coming weeks. An interesting time ahead in Kenyan politics. Again, in terms of politics, we don't need Raila in opposition. Azimio leaders say that that is their stand, they say. A section of Azimio leaders have decried what they termed as utmost betrayal of Kenyans by a faction of their coalition partner and failing to stay true to their course. Was it? Amid the move to embrace a broad-based government, the team led by Kalonzo Musyoka insisted that all is not well in the country, which calls for a united front to deal with the issues bedeviling it. That is in as far as politics is concerned. I'll be taking a look at that in the next few with my guest already in studio. But the question is here, how is it good for your health? Revealed how taxpayers lost billion shillings in edible oils scandal. There's a report here which says that the government spent 14.45 billion shillings to import 2.8 million. That's 20-liter jerrycans of edible oil, out of which only 12.05 billion was paid, out of 14. And so now KCB gave 24 billion shillings credit to Kenya National Trading Corporation for program. That is according to the Auditor General. And the scandal, after another, continues. And still, finally, on the inner pages of the Standard, Adani defends JKIA deal, blames misinformation. The reports indicate that the firm had been contracted to take over management of airport. Despite the mounting criticism, the company defended its intentions in Kenya. That's what we have. All right. And finally, let me just talk about, for those people who were in the drama festival, students sell Happiness at Music Festival Gala begins in Eldoret. I don't know whether Gabriel Kagombe was a member of the drama festival or music festival in high school. I'm not so sure about that. He'll have to tell us what he participated in. I played hockey, handball, and I was also a member of the drama festival. Gigi?
I wouldn't do anything that pertains to acting. I only speak the truth.
Oh, I see. I see what you've done there. So you're not a member of any co-curricular club?
Well, I was a volleyballer.
Nice one.
I was actually the captain of the volleyball team. And we ruled Nairobi.
Talk of volleyball, how did the Malkia Strikers perform at the Olympics?
Well, we didn't fare very well.
But
we tried. We kept.
We tried.
It's been. I think with the resources that we have allocated to them, they tried. Yeah.
Right. I have Peter Masara, also Gigi, I almost said Gigi Kariuki. Gigi Kakombe, member of Gatundu South. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a while. Karibu sana.
Asante.
And Mheshimiwa Peter Masara, all the way from Suna West, the great people of Suna. He's here in studio with me today. He's here. Msione Mheshimiwa amepotea, ako hapa. So if he's not picking up your call, he's with me. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Actually, I came early.
Yes.
Your people misled me. I was taken to the reception, given water to drink. I came here 15 minutes to 7.
Hot water?
Yeah, 15 minutes to 7 I was at the KBC premises.
Okay, I'll handle that.
Yeah, but
Great
there's no problem. Here I am.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. Okay. You've just come when we are taking a look at what you have on the front page of our local dailies. Let me start with you, Gigi. Scandal of Kenya's athletes' talent drain. She's handled it. Wakili Wanjiru Madai is also here with us. Let me take it very quickly. Ruto's train guns on PSS on reshuffle. That's on the front page of the Standard newspaper. That's what you have here. What has it that more PSS are meant to go in the new cabinet reshuffle? And what has it that Raila Odinga and Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, are also consulted on who to be proposed? That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Very quickly, on the front page of the Star, what I have here, Ruto Raila pact bolster Rigathi Mount Kenya grip. That is what I have here. Ruto, Raila, pact bolster, Rigathi Mount Kenya grip. Key ODM luminaries have been appointed to key ministries in Kenya Kwanza. Kagombe, what do you make of this front page? Ruto, Raila, pact bolster, Mount Kenya, and Ruto trace gun on PS's reshuffle. In 2 minutes, if you can.
You know, I know there's a.
Okay, I'll come back to you shortly. All right, let me come to Masara.
Yes.
Let's take a break. I'm told. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
You are the
hold on. We take a break? No. A quick break. Let's take a break.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out! Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
All right, welcome back. Now, sasa tuko hapa cha ukweli sasa. Cha ukweli. All right, Mheshimiwa, you have the copy of the Standard. Please take us through that front page kindly in 1 minute. What's on the front page of the Standard?
Yeah, Ruto trains guns on PS in Saful.
What do you make of that?
Actually, I'm Peter Masara, for those who don't know me. I represent the great people of Sona West. I'm a member of Orange Democratic Movement. Since the Gen Z generation, in their demands, they wanted accountability in the government. I think it is high time, I believe, the president decided to take stock of what has happened since he joined the government in 2002. And actually, now that we are almost midway in the midterm, it is important for evaluation to be done. Those who have performed to continue performing, those who have underperformed to be given lighter duties. So I think there's no strange thing here. Any organization can reorganize their government, their organization. So when President Ruto is trying to organize the PSB, you know, the PSS actually are the engine of every ministry because they are the accounting officers. And in most cases, actually, in other well-established countries, the professionalism is usually considered. Where, for example, health need a PS or a CS who is a qualified doctor, so that they can understand the area where he's going to work. So I don't see much here. We need, actually, should suffer the whole cabinet because they let him down. Yeah, Kenya have spoken, and they have spoken loudly that they were dissatisfied with what has happened from 2022 to 2024. So me, I expect that everybody will go home and the younger people, younger generation will be appointed to be PSS.
Okay. Mheshimiwa Gabriel?
First of all, you had asked me 2 questions before we went to the break. And one was the issue of the grip on Mount Kenya by the Deputy President, by the coalition, or I mean the coming together of the President and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And my opinion is that is a creation of the media. The government is working properly. We may have some challenges here and there that we have seen, and you know, people have created that there's some problem between the president and the deputy president. The only thing I would say is we are trying to avoid tribal politics, and we have seen where tribal politics has taken us. This idea that you have some people and we have interests, and Honorable Masara will tell you that when in Parliament he represents the people of Suna West, and of course he'll want to have the interests of those people attended to first. The same way I would want the interests of the people of Gatundu South attended to first. That does not mean, however, that we create an environment of animosity against each other as communities and as tribes. And you know that is against the Constitution. So we're trying to bolster unity in this country. So when Raila Odinga and William Ruto come together and say we have chaos and we need to get a political solution so that Kenyans are happy, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're opportunistic and you think that you're going to now cry fall in the village and say that this unity that is, because when there's no peace, especially in this Nairobi, the people who suffer, this is a metropolitan place. We suffer, all of us, whether you're from the mountain or from the lake or from the ocean. I mean, we all suffer. If Nairobi and other urban areas are not peaceful and the environment is not good for business. So I wouldn't, anybody who wants to take advantage of a situation that the government and everybody found themselves really in, would be considered an opportunistic. Therefore, that's number one. Number two, on the issue of cabinet secretaries and PSs, I don't think the people that the masses had the problems with was the cabinet. And you know, these accounting officers who are PSs are the engine, really, that runs these state departments. And the state departments are the ones that run our country, per se. The CSs are more of giving political direction and probably carrying the carriers of the dream of the government that is in place. But the principal secretaries, really, even when they are nominees of the president, are more of technocrats, and their work is to, you know, really be, that's why they are the accounting officers. I would say that I would expect the president to be a little cautious when moving, especially now that we have mainly new cabinet secretaries completely in all new departments. I would expect him to be a little slow towards reshuffling the entire PSs.
Okay. What do you make of that, Wanjiru, as well? Wanjiru is an advocate of the High Court, and she also took a stab Kiambu constituency in the last election. So she has a grip of what you gentlemen also, she missed with the whisker, but it's okay. So what do you make of this? There's no problem with that. Reshuffling the entire cabinet to make it more efficient is what the president is talking about. That's forming a part of discussion. So you can just pick it from where Gigi has left.
You know, in my opinion, from where I sit, the cabinet dismissals and reappointments and the PSS dismissal and reappointment is sort of like a reactionary decision that was precipitated by what happened following the protests. And my first question is whether the leadership at the executive level understood what was really the core reason behind the protests, because the finance bill was really just a catalyst. The questions that Kenyans are asking themselves is, how have we found ourselves in this situation where we are being overburdened by these taxes? And that is why we are now beginning to have this conversation around how did we get into so much debt?
Yes.
Why is there so much corruption? What is the president's vision in respect to fighting graft? So those are very critical issues in which the president needs to consider when he's making these appointments. And in my opinion, I do not believe that that is something that the president took into consideration, because you can tell from some of the cabinet appointees who are already facing graft charges in court. Were it not for the appointment, they would now be, they were awaiting prosecution, so to speak. So that in itself indicates that we lack the proper goodwill from the leadership of this country to fight the very reasons why the Gen Zs actually went to the streets. Yes.
Okay. Mheshimiwa Peter, because when you look at it, part of the cabinet is formed by ODM, or opposition. And, you know, the opposition said those were individuals who are willing, not sanctioned by the Azimio or that. But now we're also seeing part of the PSS, the reshuffling is also coming. When? It's a matter of the president to tell us now. But now we have got the president's take two. What should we expect moving forward?
Victor, somebody forgets about the history, cannot move forward. Let's go back to 2022 general election. It was contested. And both Raila and Ruto got almost, according to what was announced, similar votes because the difference was 200,000. Now, Ruto himself decided to name a cabinet. He worked with that cabinet for almost 18 to 19 months and things were not working. So, to me, he went to his rival to borrow experts and ask how, if you are given opportunity, how will you manage your government? That's why you see ODM has not joined the government, but we have given Kenya Kwanza our experts. Mbadi, you know, is a CPA. Ope Wandai, you know his history. Joe was in Mombasa, he performed well. Oparanya was in Kakamega. You can't dispute his performance. What we have to agree first, can we have a cabinet without a country? Can we have coalition parties without a country? So what happened should not be judged negatively. First, we had to secure our country is when we move forward. The situation by then, there was no alternative. These two principles had to agree on a conversation. I can tell you, because I attended all the meetings, even the latest one of the PG, there is no written agreement deposited anywhere that ODM and Kenya Kwanza are working as a team. The Constitution allows the president to appoint Kenyans. Mbadi is a Kenyan, despite being, now he's no longer a member of ODM, he resigned. Ope Wanda is no longer a member of, can I tell you, almost all these people are members of ODM, including the president was a member of ODM. Sometimes back, he just resigned. So by Mbadi, Wandai and Joe and Oparanya joining, and many to join, we want to make our country to work. I believe when these PSS are going to be reshuffled, I'm not qualified to appoint, but I expect something to be done which can stabilize this country. I'm very happy about something. Maybe if you get time, you read the New Standard, page 2. They are talking about now reducing PSS from 51 to 35. That one is a gesture that things are moving toward the right direction. The main problem why majority of Kenya went on the street was the cost of living. Now, when you have 51 PSS, there's a cost element. And this cost is being burdened to the mwananchi. If you reduce it to 31, actually you have reduced the burden. We need the president to continue reducing. Actually, the next thing we are told here, there are some departments which are going to be merged, consolidated, yes, so that we can get quality services. That's a good direction. It means the expert we gave Kenya Kwanza are really advising him well for this period. They are because before
they have not even served in their offices.
No, they have been talking for the last 2 weeks. So I suspect these are some of the terms they have given the president. For we to deliver, we must do, because look at the NADCO report. The Azimio coalition was very categorical about 1, reducing the cost of living, 2, prudence use of public resources, 3, ending corruption. Okay, those were fundamental issues. So when we start seeing things happening, it means part of the NADCO report, which was majorly Azimio on behalf of the Kenyans who were demonstrating last year, they have started implementing it.
Gigi, it seems that Azimio is taking credit for almost everything now happening right now. At least from what I hear from Mheshimiwa Masara here.
That's fine. That's fine. They can take credit. For me, whoever takes credit, as long as you have a peaceful country, is fine. What I would say, two things. One, I like what Honorable Masara said. We need a country. You cannot have a cabinet without a country. And I want to tell my good friend Wanjiru here, we must learn to be magnanimous enough to accept that we also need a country. We cannot be people who just complain all the time. People have been in the streets and we've seen it. Nairobi has been ungovernable for quite a long time until the president now sought a solution, because people were telling us they are leaderless, they are, I don't know what-less, they are formless, and now we need a solution. And you can tell that we have a solution because today is Tuesday and we're in town. I have not been able to come to work since, I don't know, for a very long time, since we passed the finance bill. So those are issues of that have been, and I also want to say that people who are in opposition must, the word is must, practice hygienic politics. Politics of sabotage and politics of fujo na madharau na mambo ya na incitement is not good for this country, because we need a country. And let me tell you, we have seen countries in our neighboring us, in our neighborhood, going down. And so we must agree that we need to be more responsible even as we politic, and know that we have a country to leave to our next generations. That said, I think we have a huge bloated government.
You are right.
We are 349 members of parliament. We have a Senate that has, I don't know, 60 what people. We have 3,000 and something MCAs. We have nominated members of parliament, nominated members of county assemblies. We have 14 commissions. We have, I don't know what. We have a constitution that gave us a very bloated government. I think we need a very serious conversation on how lean a government should be. Because some of these things, I think we have duplication of roles. We have ministries that are carrying roles that are also devolved, and we have a ministry that is in charge of devolution, but then you also have a ministry that is in charge of agriculture, and agriculture is devolved, and all those things. We need to have a conversation and have a serious one, and have people like Wanjiru who are critical of government coming and telling us what we're going to do with this constitution, so that we appreciate and we continue. Because you see, even if you tell the president now to reduce the size of cabinet, reduce the size of ABCD, we also have a constitution that stifles him. So we must be magnanimous enough to come and tell him, I think it is time to amend the constitution. We tried the constitution in 2010, and now we have these challenges. This has been 14 years. We need to look at what works, what doesn't work for us. We need to look at where we are. Because I also feel like in the committee of experts, we should have put more economists to tell us, and more financial experts to tell us, okay, this is the constitution that you have formed. These are the number of members of parliament that you have proposed. This is the number of senators that you've proposed. This is the number of governors that you've proposed. And the governors have these sizes of government that you've proposed. How are we going to finance it without straining the economy and without straining Wanjiku? Because let us be honest, a lot of borrowing that I have seen, I sit in the Public Accounts Committee. When you see a lot of grants that have been given to this country, and by the way, they're called grants, and then we end up paying for them because they're conditional, some of them. And a lot of this money that has been spent from partners, even from the consolidated fund, you find it's money that really anybody who sat on that seat, as long as the constitution is as is, cannot avoid. And that is what we are finding wastage. That's why we are finding wastage. That's why you're finding duplication of roles. That's why we're finding offices that do not serve the people, that cannot give value. For the last 14 years they've been in place. When we sit down, we must audit ourselves and say, how has this office served us? Do we really need it? Do we need this commission? Do we need these nominated members of parliament? Do we need these many constituencies? All those things. And we have an honest conversation like the Gen Z's made us have. And we say, okay, I don't think, because you see, this thing is not about President William Ruto. It's not about him. It's about the whole of that position, and whoever it is that will be holding that opposition, that position, even if it is you, Victor Olo, you would have to be caught between a rock and a very hard surface, as long as the constitution is as is. So for me, we must admit that we need to reduce the size of government, and we must also agree that as Kenyans, this is a conversation we must continue, we must start having. And I like what the Gen Zs have told us, because I think the Gen Zs are telling us to reset. They're telling us we have been taking a trajectory, and this is not anybody, this is all of us. We've been taking a trajectory without looking back and asking ourselves.
Has the government done so?
This is not about government. I want you to listen, Victor Olo. This is not about government. This is about we as Kenyans. I am even saying, you know, how much is our tax to GDP ratio? We are now at about 16%. What I'm asking is, we must start having a social conversation about what we do with the rest of the money, with the 70% that is not taxed. This tax to GDP ratio, we must start asking ourselves, when our private investors are busy spending all their money on guzzlers and everything else, and we are not creating opportunities for our people, because the government is not responsible for creating opportunities. The government is a very bad business person. It's a very bad business entity. So what the government does is to create an environment for people in the private sector to invest, and the people who create jobs in any economy is the private sector. So we must start asking ourselves, how is our private sector formed? Is our private sector only left to those people who come from other countries, or do we have a responsibility? We who have money, who have disposable income, what are we doing to help our young people to get jobs?
Wakili here was on the front line during Gen Z Mandamano. She was there fully. But from what you're saying, I'll have to come back to my discussion. From what you're saying, it's like you're playing to the gallery. You're trying to smoothen the psyche of the Gen Z. We need to start talking to the government. We need to start doing that. But in real sense, you're the people who are supposed to be making some of these laws that Gen Z will not come back and oppose.
Wanjiru. Wait a minute. Before Victor comes, it's very wrong for you, Victor, to impute improper motive on me and saying that I'm trying to play to the gallery. You need to have listened to what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to have a social conversation about the rest of the money, other than the money that is spent by the government. That is a conversation that if you don't understand what I'm saying, it is good that you say so.
I understand.
Other than say that I'm playing to the gallery. I want you to listen to what I'm saying.
I do.
The private money that you and I hold, because it is in the banks, we people who have a responsibility and are here, and because we have a responsibility, because we have made that money in this country, we have a responsibility to invest in this country and to make other people who are behind us benefit from it. I was employed by an individual. Nation Center is not Nation, where I worked as my first job, is not a government entity. But those people created a job for me when I left the University of Nairobi. I went and worked there. When I left there, I went and worked at Royal Media Services, a company owned by a family. Those are people who went and created jobs for people like me. So I'm saying, those people we must start having a conversation like that. And then we say, we have been talking about public participation. I'm saying we bring everybody together and we say that this is how probably we should be spending our private money.
Let's hear from Wanjiru before you come in.
If you allow me, I'm going to lose something here. Let us not deviate from the topic. The topic is very important. Actually, I've gotten several texts here. We were talking about politics and people. Let us concentrate on that. Politics and people. And the most current happening is the issue of Gen Zs. We should not talk about so many things. Those young people have given us agenda. And their agenda is not only for young people, it's for Kenya. We are talking about Kenya. Anything which was happening before must be audited. Our lifestyle, how we behave, how we invest, how we legislate, how executive are operating, how our courts are operating, Victor. Victor, the truth of the matter is we were not moving towards the right direction. It is high time we sit down, evaluate ourselves, we go to what is called factory reset. We take this country to the original position we were in 1963 when we got independent. Then we start again moving forward. On the issue of the PSS, there's something I left. If you look at the current composition of PSS, majority are from two communities. I think I'm right there. So what needs to be done? The agencies were demanding for inclusivity. We want to see a Turkana. We want to see an Ogik. We want to see a Kuria. We want to see somebody from Coast. We want to see somebody from Suna West. Somebody from there being a PS. When they sit down with the president They'll tell him the problem cutting across the country, not two communities seated somewhere, dividing the cake. But when it comes to taxation, they don't exclude other people, they tax everybody. When it comes to employment, old people are being recycled, young people who have graduated are not getting job opportunity. These are the issues we need to discuss, how to help our young people to get jobs or to start businesses, because not everybody can be in the office. Some people can be entrepreneurs, but is there enabling environment for them? Have we created avenues where they can go borrow money, start a business, and if they have money, when they want to start a business, what are the restrictions? How many licenses? How many approvals?
And that now forms the question. So what should we expect? Because now, the two gentlemen, you've talked about factory reset.
Yes.
Which is okay. For 1963 and getting it right one more time. That forms our discussion, the president's take two. So he's reshuffled his cabinet and now the PSs are also coming. So what should you expect? Mike, that's a very simple question. That the country is now looking up to the government, to the president. The cabinet secretaries took over office yesterday. Some of them are still settling in. So what should you expect? Let me start with you again. Come to you, Wanjiru.
I'm not sure what we can expect, but what we can do is look at the track record of the current appointees and the appointees, the PSs that are going to be appointed shortly. But in my personal experience, I've learned in life that it is a very natural survival instinct for a person to push back when they are pressed against the wall. And we must ask ourselves, let's have a sober conversation and ask ourselves, what was it that led the Gen Zs to feel as though they were backed against the wall and they needed to push back? This had nothing to do with a broad-based government. It didn't. In fact, if you went to the ground, it really did not have anything, a lot to do with performance as such. There was not so much gruntling about performance. This went to at the core of why the Gen Zs felt as though they were so oppressed that they needed to go out to the streets was, one, the finance bill, which had imposed taxation measures that was making life completely unsustainable. And then secondly, that they lacked proper representation at the legislative level to represent their interests. So there was sort of like a defiance at the legislative level concerning who they are actually there to represent, right? And now, as I sit here and I look at the president trying to incorporate the opposition in his government. From me, what I'm wondering is, does this not look like a complete state capture of the legislature, which is actually supposed to be a check and balance of the excesses? Of course it is a state capture. It is a state capture. And then now we are only left with the judiciary to manage the excesses of this government. So these are the conversations that we need to have. Let's go to the root of why the Gen Zs went to the streets. And mind you, this is not a Gen Z problem, as Mheshimiwa is saying. This is actually the country's problem. Everyone was bitter. Everyone was complaining about just the unsustainability of life in this country. So this has really nothing to do with creating opportunities. What I've actually learned from Kenya is, or from Kenyans are, we are never short of ideas on how to create wealth. And when you look at the percentage of, if you look at the majority of Gen Zs, most of them are not even in the private sector or public sector. Most of them are actually self-employed or in the agriculture industry. Okay? So to that end, Kenyans have never been short of ideas on how to create wealth. The problem has been how we are going to safeguard our wealth and how we are going to manage this wealth. That has been the biggest issue that we have had in this country. And the question then begs, do we have the right team to address those issues?
That's the question is, Mheshimiwa Kagombe, do we have the right team?
Kagombe, can you borrow me your 2 minutes?
Okay.
So that I don't lose what Wakili. You know, let us be honest. This is our country. Let us be honest with one another. There was a problem. That's why Gen Zs were on the street. How can we solve this problem? They are leaderless. They are partyless. So you can't call their party leader. You cannot call their leader. Personally, as a leader, I picked what they were talking about and summarized it. Some were saying, I'm on the street because I'm jobless. I can't marry. I've married twice and I cannot sustain my wife. Some were saying that you are overburdening us with tax. Some were saying we don't see the future. My line is administration and public leadership. Now, when somebody is not seeing a future, they react. So these agencies wanted to secure a future for them. That's why they were telling us, we don't want to listen to you anymore because you don't understand us. That's now the agencies. It means leaders who are there were not doing things as per their expectation because they are the future leaders.
Okay.
That's why finance bill was rejected with everybody. Why? The cost of living. The cost of living is the key word here. Two, representation does not mean a legislator. Representation is where your leader represents your needs. It's not about youth being. You can have a leader who is 80 years, but represent the interests of his people.
You took Gigi's 2 minutes.
Yes. Then finally on the same was about state capture. I think that's not a right word. I've never supported William Ruto, but on this, I can say that let us give him time and ideas so that he can move this country forward. Why do I say so? We want a vibrant parliament. I believe moving forward, the MPs who are sitting in that house with what happened will think about their people, not about themselves.
Very good.
In that line, we'll be representing our people. And I can tell you, part of the 4 people have been nominated from ODM to join the government. Any program which will be brought to parliament, which is pro-people, I'll support. Anything bad which will be brought by the government, which is not pro-people, I'll oppose.
All right.
Because I represent the people.
Let me get from Gigi.
So 2 things that I wanted to tell Wakili here. One, I'm in the agriculture sector, and I wish she knew that we do not have the Gen Zs in that sector. I wish we could.
But you're
have,
a Gen Z yourself.
No.
Well, I mean.
No, we must be strict. If you're talking about the youth, I would have, the millennials would have been part of it. I'll tell you, my life is agriculture. And, I'm even in tea and everything. And I wish we had the Gen Zs in that sector. I think we could make that sector as attractive as to attract those people. And number 2, she also says that they are also not in the private sector and not in government. And then I wonder now where they would be. And she says that they're self-employed. I would say that I agree with the Honorable Masara on this one. That what these people were saying is that they have no future. And they wanted to create a future. And when you wake up and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, you want everything to stop. And that's why they said, let's reset. But what is important is to say that this country has had problems. Do we have problems? Yes. Do we need a better, to find a solution do we need better economy? Yes, we do. Do we need to employ our people better than we are doing? Yes. How do we do it? This cannot be a game where we throw, this cannot be musical chairs, that it is not me, it is this person. This is where the country needs to come together. And that is why I support this idea of saying, okay, wait, guys, we need to have a conversation. But we need to have structured conversation because, we cannot have a conversation in isolation or in a vacuum. Because who are you going to have a conversation with? So what the government is saying and what the president said is, okay, wait, we need to start somewhere. Where do we start? He said, okay, fine, let people come together. Let's hear from the opposition because they also represent a lot of people. And you're saying the Gen Zs were not just articulating their issues, they were articulating the issues of the country. So we say, this country, who are the known, what is our fallback position? Who do we know? We know the 15 million people.
I have one stone here, Mheshimiwa, and I want to kill 2 birds with it.
Yep.
Because I'm also told that we are running out of time. It's already. Okay. Then we cross over to it. But I want to ask you.
But we request you add
to congratulate you. You congratulate our time. Mheshimiwa, just to congratulate. You are elected as the chair of, is it Ndaragu Tea Factory?
Ndaruga. And then Ndarugu
Tea Factory.
Yes.
What are you going to do?
The KTDA elections, tea sector reforms and tea sector issues are very interesting because we have many levels of elections. You start with an electoral area,
yes.
Then you come to the factory, then you come to the zone, and then you come to the national board, where I now sit. And we should be conducting elections later today, maybe at about 9:30.
Okay.
Where we'll have the national chair, who generally, because of the shareholding issues, comes from the east of the rift. The east of the rift and the west of the rift, where tea is grown, and the chairman naturally comes from the east of the rift because of the shareholding of the company, and the vice chair will normally come from the west of the rift, and so we are going to be having the elections today. And the reason we did these elections is because we want to change how we do things. We want to create employment here, like I'm saying.
Yes.
Because we need to get more youth and more Gen Zs into this agriculture sector, because it's not been very attractive to them because of the form and the way it has been, the way we have formatted the economy. So we expect changes to attract more Gen Zs. We have just asked the universities to participate in a competition. I was with the PSS to have them want to hear their voice on value addition issues and how to create a bigger variety of products that can come from our tea industry.
Thank you. All right. Gentlemen and lady, I'm told that we're running out of time, and we also have to get to radio. Mheshimiwa Peter Masara, how is Suna doing?
Actually,
doing
well. Suna West is doing well.
Thank you.
People of Suna are still having, they believe in me because of my performance. I can say that because...
The same as Gigi.
Yes, but what I can say finally, is only one word. The president. To the president.
See that I have a split with my colleague Dora.
Oh,
that's already. It's enough time to limit that. I'm running out of time. Dora Manya taking it over on the other side of Radio Taifa. They'll be talking about ufadhili wa elimu ya juu. I think I got it right.
Naam, shukran sana mwenzangu Victor Olo upande wa pili wa KBC Channel 1, na vile vile kule kwenye Radio Taifa niko na mwenzangu Rashid Mwamkondopa. Asanteni kwa mjadala ambao umefana tena zaidi. Na ni wakati mwingine mtazamaji wa Channel 1 na msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, tunapatana kupitia ushirikiano mkubwa wa Channel 1 na Radio Taifa, mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja kuhusu masuala ambayo yanatuhusu kama taifa, na hii leo tutakuwa tunaangazia masuala ya elimu ya juu hapa nchini. Na mtazamaji na msikilizaji, kumbuka kwamba serikali kwa mara nyingine imekuwa imeingilia kati ili kuondolea wanafunzi na vile vile wazazi wasiwasi kuhusu swala la ufadhili wa elimu ya juu, na kuongeza muda wa wanafunzi waliofanya mtihani wa kitaifa wa kidato cha 4 mwaka 2023 kutuma maombi ya ufadhili. Muda wa nyongeza bila shaka umeongezwa hadi Agosti 15. Wageni wangu wataniambia kama muda umeongezwa tena ama bado, na muda huu unalenga kushughulikia idadi kubwa ya wanafunzi kama bado hawajatuma maombi ya usaidizi wa kifedha unaohitajika. Na kumbuka pia hatua hii inajiri huku kukiwa na ukosoaji kutoka kwa umma kuhusiana na mtindo mpya wa ufadhili wa elimu ya juu. Na Ijumaa wiki jana kulishuhudiwa maandamano wakati wa kongamano la kati ya wadau wa vyuo vikuu vya kibinafsi na serikali, ambapo wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu walisababisha kusitishwa kongamano hilo kwa muda, huku wakitaka majibu kuhusu kwa nini wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu vya kibinafsi hawajajumuishwa kama vile watakaonufaika na mtindo mpya wa ufadhili wa vyuo vikuu kama wenzao katika vyuo vya umma. Kwa hivyo kawa na msongamano na maandamano kidogo, lakini pia swala hilo tulichanganua leo, na bila shaka mtazamaji na msikilizaji kutusaidia kuchanganua swala hili la ufadhili wa elimu ya juu na kutusaidia kuelewa zaidi kwa kina, studioni na wageni wawili. Na kwanza kabisa naye Bi Diana Mutisia, yeye ni afisa mkuu wa fedha katika idara ya elimu ya juu na utafiti katika Wizara ya Elimu. Karibu sana Bi Diana.
Asante.
Uko mzima?
Uko mzima, nashukuru.
Asante kufika.
Asante.
Bila shaka pia najua nakaa katika alama na keti katika bodi ya ile tunaita University Fund. Tutakuwa tunazungumzia mengi hayo baadaye. Na vile vile tunaye Bwana Geoffrey Monari ambaye ni afisa mfawidhi kupenda CEO katika hazina ya vyuo vikuu ukipenda Universities Fund. Karibu sana Bwana Monari.
Asante sana.
Mzima
kabisa.
Asante kufika tuongee masuala ya elimu. Kwa hivyo hapa nao wasomi ambao wanaelewa masuala ya elimu na vile mambo yetu yanaendelea hapa nchini Kenya. Asante kufika. Kwa hivyo mtazamaji na msikilizaji, andamana nasi, tupe kauli zako kupitia mitandao yetu ya Facebook, vile vile katika mitandao ya X, Channel 1 na vile vile KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, na pia unaweza kunifuata kwa @DoraManya. Tuanze swala zima hili la mjadala wetu asubuhi ya leo, na ningependa labda nianzie upande wako Bwana Geoffrey Monare. Tusaidie kuelewa tu serikali na baadhi ya wadau leta mifumo mbalimbali, mifumo mpya kuhusiana na ufadhili wa elimu, na tunaona mfumo mpya ambao pia rais aliweza kuzindua rasmi mwaka uliopita, nafikiri mwezi wa Mei tarehe 3. Mfumo huu mpya ambao uliweza kuzinduliwa ndio unatumika kwa sasa. Tusaidie kuelewa mfumo huu labda uko vipi na tofauti yake na mfumo ambao ulikuwepo hapo awali.
Asante sana Dora. Huu mfumo ulizinduliwa mwaka uliopita Mei 3 na rais wa nchi ya Kenya Daktari William Ruto, kwa sababu kwa siku nyingi tumeona kuwa masomo ya juu ya university yamekuwa na shida. Tumeona kuwa wanafunzi wanaenda shule na wamekuwa wakikuwa na shida nyingi kwa sababu hawapati yale masomo ambao walikuwa wanahitaji kwenye hizo shule. Na hii shida ilianza I think tulipo zindua huu mfumo mwingine unaitwa DUC, Differentiated Unit Cost, ambapo serikali ilikuwa itoe 80% kwa ile program cost, na mwanafunzi alikufaa apate loan na scholarship, loan, ama wanafunzi wazazi walipe 20%. Lakini vile muda ulikuwa unaendelea, tulipata kuwa serikali ingeweza kulipa zile hele ilikuwa imeahidi, na pia wanafunzi pia walikuwa na shida na kulipa hizo 20%. Hivyo wanafunzi walikuwa wanapata elimu duni kwenye vyuo vikuu, na ilikuwa muhimu tuanze kuwasaidia ndio wapate ile elimu ambayo walikuwa wanataka kwenye vyuo vikuu. Hivyo serikali ilipoingia hii iliyopo sasa, wakazindua jopo la Presidential Working Party. Lilipoenda kwenye nchi nzima, watu wa Kenya walisema kuwa wanataka huu mfumo uangaliwe ndio tujue vile wanaweza saidika. Ndio tukakuja na huu mfumo mpya ambao sasa wanafunzi wanapewa pesa vile hitaji yao ya nyumbani, yani household, vile wanakaa kutoka nyumbani, in terms of equity. Yani kama wewe unahitaji pesa nyingi unapewa nyingi, wala hawahitaji wanapunguziwa. Sasa unapata kuna scholarship ile iko kutoka 70%. Kuna wale wanafunzi ambao wanatoka kwenye nyumba ambazo ama wengine ni orphans, watu kama hao wanapewa scholarship na serikali 70% na loan ya 25%. Hivyo serikali inawafund 95%. Ule wa chini kabisa, ukiangalia hizo kategori 5, atasaidiwa na serikali 30%, na yeye mwenyewe apewe loan ya 30%, lakini kutoka nyumbani aweze kulipa 40%, asilimia 40, yani 40%. Huo ndio mfumo tuko nao sahi. Uko na kategori 5. Kuna kategori ya pili ambayo wanafunzi wanapewa 80% na 80% total, yani hiyo inakuwa 70, 60 na 30. Hiyo ndio inakuja ya pili 90, alafu 80-30 inakuja 80%, alafu ya tatu 60-30 inakuja 70%, ukikuja chini mpaka 60%. Sasa huu ndio mfumo tuko nao wakati huu. Ndio.
Asante sana. Labda Bidana, sijui kama kuna kitu ungependa kuongeza na utusaidie basi kutofautisha. Ndio ametaja sasa vile mfumo huu unafanya kazi. Mfumo ule wa kitambo ulikuwa na utofauti wote na huu alivyotaja kwamba hii inafaa kuboresha zaidi vile elimu inapeanwa, manake wengi walikuwa kwamba wapati elimu ambayo inafaa.
Yes. Asante Dora kwa kuwa nasi hapa siku ya leo. Na kwa hakika ni kweli tulikuwa na ile model ya kitambo ambayo tulikuwa tunaita DUC. DUC ilipoanza hapo kitambo, na nikurudisha hapo nyuma kidogo, universities, vyuo vyetu za zilikuwa chache, na tukiendelea vyuo zilianza kutamba, na walipoanzisha ilikuwa serikali peane 80% kwa 100 na mzazi ama guardian atoe 20%. So tukiendelea, kwa sababu ya idadi ya vyuo kuwa mingi na wazazi na watoto kupanuka kuwa kwa shule, serikali ingeweza kumiti ile 80%. Na ndiposa kukakuwa tumeendelea, ikakuwa hata hizo vyuo vikuu haziwezi kujiendeleshea mambo yao ya management ya vyuo vikuu, na hiyo ndio ilileta utata. Ikakuwa sasa ni lazima kuna madeni ambayo iliendelea na kuwa mengi. Ikafika mahali, kwa sababu hii mvumo haikuwa inatofautisha mtoto ambaye ni yatima, mtoto ambaye anatoka kwa nyumba ya umaskini na mtoto ambaye anatoka kwa nyumba ya utajiri. Wote walikuwa wanapatiwa funding kwa usawa. Kwa hivyo ikiendelea, na ndipo serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ilipokuja, regime ilikuja, kwa vile wakifanya kampeni zao waliahidi watafanya reforms za education, ndio kila mtoto wa Mkenya mahali aliko aweze kupata elimu bora, sio elimu tu, elimu bora. Na ndiposa president wetu alipoingia na timu yake, wakaanzisha hiyo presidential working party, na walizunguka kila mahali mpaka chini kwa constituencies, na walipata maoni, na hiyo maoni ndio ililetwa on board, ndio ikawezesha kukua, na kuna kamiti ambayo ilikuwa na watafiti, wakaona ni vizuri watoke katika mfumo wa kitambo ndio waweze kukua kwa mfumo ya new funding model. Na kwa vile mwenzangu venye amesema, hii mfumo ya new funding model ambayo ndio imekiini na sababu ya nyinyi kutuita hapa kwa studio, na tumeshukuru sana, ni kwamba hii new funding model iko na utofauti mkubwa. Old funding model ama DUC, pesa zilikuwa zinaenda kwa chuo, lakini hii ya wakati huu, pesa ambazo ni za serikali za umma, zile zimekusanywa na umma kupitia idara tofauti, kutoka Treasury na kufika kwa idara ya kitengo cha university na utafiti, kufikia mali zinaenda kwa disbursed by High Education Loan Board Universities Fund. Ilikuja ikakuwa ni pesa ambazo venye mwenzangu amesema zinafuata watoto, it is student centered, na hii ingine ilikuwa inaenda universities.
Kwa hivyo kwa sasa pesa zinatumwa kwa mwanafunzi,
inatumwa kwa mwanafunzi. Yes. Kama ni mwanafunzi anafanya program, kila university imepeana cost ya that program, na ndiposa sasa inaenda huko inafuata ni center student funded, na ndio unaona tuko na hiyo mpangilio. Watoto wakisha apply, kuna venye inaangaliwa na instruments zile zinaangaliwa kutofautisha huyu mtoto anajiweza, ni yatima, na huyo ndio tunampatia 90%, 95%. Yeye mzazi wake atalipa only 5%. Na kwa Mkenya ambaye ananitazama aelewe kwamba hii 5% inamaanisha kama programu yako ni ya 200, utalipa 5% of that program, of that cost of that program. Na kwa wengi, kwa kifupi, wanalipa less than 10,000. Kwa hivyo kuna utofauti ya ile ya kitambo na ya sasa.
Kwa hivyo kwa mfano kama nafanya uhandisi na karo ambayo nafaa kulipa ni shilingi 200,000. Okay. Na umesema kwamba labda mimi ni yatima ama natoka katika familia ambayo kidogo mapato yako chini. Ina maana ya kwamba nitalipa 5% ya shilingi 200,000. Hiyo ndio mimi kama mwanafunzi ama mzazi atalipa. Lakini hizo zingine italipwa na serikali.
Italipwa na serikali na inalipwa in full, in terms of scholarship na loan.
Okay. Tunakuja pale. Kwa hivyo sasa ni kupitia scholarship na loan ndio wanafunzi wanapata ule ufadhili Na huu ufadhili tunazungumzia vyuo vikuu, pia vyuo vya anuai vinahusishwa hapa katika ufadhili usio. Ziko katika ufadhili huu.
Iko katika hiyo ufadhili.
Sasa nadhani ilikuwa muhimu sana kuweka hilo wazi kwamba tuzungumzie tu vyuo vikuu bali pia tunazungumzia hivi vyuo vingine
za TVET.
Sawa. Na hebu tuangalie vigezo ambavyo mnaangalia, manake hapa ndo maswali yanaibuka. Mwajuaje kwamba huyu mwanafunzi ndo ako na mahitaji sana kuliko huyu mwingine? Mnafanya vipi kujua kwamba kwa hakika huyu anafaa apate scholarship wala sio huyu? Nikianza nawe Bwana Geoffrey, mnaangalia vigezo vipi kwa ufupi tu kujua kwamba huyu anahitaji kushughulikiwa 95%, yeye ashughulike 5%, na huyu mwingine anahitaji kushughulika 60% ulivyosema, na sisi tukashughulika labda 10% nyingine?
Hapo tunaangalia vitu tofauti, lakini kwanza tunaangalia wale watoto ambao ni yatima, ambao walikuwa sponsored pia na watu tofauti. Unaweza pata walikuwa sponsored na individuals, wakiandikiwa barua waseme walisaidiwa na watu fulani, ama foundations. Utapata kama Elimu Foundation, hii ya serikali iliwasaidia. Kuna KCB, kuna Equity Foundation, hao ndio tunasaidia. Alafu pia tunaangalia wale watoto ambao wazazi wao wanapata hii social protection safety net, ile pesa wanapewa na serikali. Ukipata hao wazazi wako kwenye hiyo kundi, pia tunawasaidia, wanapata hiyo pesa yote. Na pia tunaangalia pesa ngapi, kama kuna wazazi ambao wanapata chini ya 6,000 kila mwezi, hao pia wako kwenye hiyo category. Ndio hao tunaweza saidia na hiyo. Ukikuja kwenye hii group nyingine, hakuna bandi ya pili, bandi ya kwanza na ya pili tofauti sio kubwa, lakini hao wazazi hawajiwezi kabisa, ama wengine wazazi waliachana, ama mzazi ni mmoja. Hapo ndio tunaangalia, na pia tunaangalia income yake. Sasa lazima iwe juu ya 6,000 mpaka karibu 12,000. Hizo ndio pesa wanapata. Na pia tunaangalia walienda shule gani, zilikuwa public schools, hizi ziko kwenye mitaa. Unajua kuna hizi shule kama Bridge, hizo pia tunaangalia. Ndio tujue walisomea upande shule gani wakikuja hivi, na ni nani alilipa fees yao, kwa sababu watu wengi wanalipiwa na watu ambaye wafadhili wengi kwenye nchi yetu. Kikundi cha tatu, ndio wale tunaita low cadre staff ambao wanapata pesa kutoka 23,000 to 70,000 kila mwezi. Hao pia ndio tunaangalia. Tunaangalia hiyo ni total income, inaweza kuwa wazazi wote wawili ama mzazi mmoja. Alafu pia tunaangalia walisomea vipi, were they sponsored, ni watoto wangapi wako kwenye hiyo boma, wako kwenye shule. Pia hiyo tunaangalia wangapi wenye wako kwenye vyuo vikuu vya anuai, vyuo vikuu tunaangalia hizo zote. Wakiwa wengi tunaangalia. Alafu kikundi cha 4 ni kutoka 70,000 mpaka 120,000. Na hao pia tunaangalia background yao, vile wamesoma shule gani, wazazi wanafanya kazi gani, na hivyo. Bandi ya mwisho ni wale wanapata kila mwezi more than 120,000. Na tunaangalia pia family size, watoto wangapi wako kwenye shule. Mnaweza kuwa mko watoto 3 kwenye university, sasa hiyo income pia inakuwa divided. Sasa hivyo ndio vitu tunaangalia.
Kwa hivyo kunaweza kuwa watoto 3 kwa familia moja bado wako university na bado wakafaidi tu.
Yes, tunaangalia hivyo kwa sababu unajua sasa huwezi sema ati hiyo income ni ya mtoto mmoja. Hapana.
Wakati unazungumzia hizo bans ama vitengo ambavyo umeweka, umezungumzia kiwango ambacho wanafaa kupata. Sasa labda hivi vikundi ndio vile tulikuwa tunasema labda yule ako na mahitaji sana, yule ako na mahitaji kidogo, hivyo tulikuwa tunasema vulnerables, the needy, the poor, ama ni tofauti na hiyo?
Unajua hiyo vulnerable sasa tulitoka huko kwa sababu hatutaki kubrand watu vulnerable forever. Tulisema hiyo tu ni band umeweka kwa muda mfupi, kwa sababu maisha vile yanaenda pia unaweza toka hapo ukakuwa umepata nafuu kidogo. Yes.
Okay. Wacha nirejee kwako Bi Diana. Sijaelewa ni kwa nini mfumo huu basi kidogo tunaweza kusema unaleta kelele kutoka pande tofauti. Na kwanza acha tuanze na wanafunzi wa vyuo vya kibinafsi ambavyo nafikiri Ijumaa iliyopita pale Kenya School of Government kulikuwa na mkutano muhimu. Nafikiri mlikuwepo labda na washikadau mbalimbali, na ikawa hao wanafunzi kutoka vyuo vya kibinafsi wakawa pia wameleta lalama zao kuhusiana na kile ambacho wanahisi kwamba wametengwa katika mpango huu mpya wa ufadhili. Nafasi ya wanafunzi wa vyuo vya kibinafsi labda katika mpango huu uko wapi? Nije kwako Bi Diana.
Kwanza ni kupeleka hapo nyuma venye tumekuelezea hii new funding model ilianza mwaka uliopita, na wale wamefaidi kwa new funding model group ya kwanza ni wale walikalia mtihani wao wa kidato cha 4 mwaka wa cohort ile tunaita 2022, na hao ndio walianza na hiyo new funding model kutoka last year. Saa hii tuko mkondo wa pili kwa wale waliweza kuingia kufanya mtihani wao kidato cha 4 2023 mwaka uliopita, ndio sasa wanaingia Septemba. Hao wengine kutoka mwaka wa 3 kuendelea mbele wako bado kwa DUC, manake hii kuanza immediately. Wale wa kitambo kutoka wa DUC wanaendelea tukiface out. Ndio hii new funding model ikichukua sasa mkondo wa kuendelea mpaka saa ile tutaweza kufikia, I think it will be 2029.
Yes,
2029. Kwa hivyo ukiona baadhi ya wale wako pale wanasema wajasaidika, ni kwa vile hawako katika hiyo category. Tuko na only 2022 na 2023. Wale wamefaidika ni wale sasa wamekuja mwaka wa pili, na wale wanaingia mwaka wa kwanza hii Septemba. Umeuliza ni kwa nini kelele. Nataka nikwambie kama wewe Mkenya mwenzangu, chochote kikiwa mpya na watu kama wajaelewa, na maybe hutaki kuelewa venye umetuita wewe uweze pia kuelewa na usaidie wananchi kuelewa, utapiga kelele. But ukielewa venye kitu inaenda na venye itafaidi na faida yake, utaweza kuelewa ni kitu kizuri.
Kwa hivyo tatizo ni kwamba watu hawajaelewa. Lakini makosa ni kwa nani? Nafikiri kwamba sidhani kwamba labda mzazi ama mwanafunzi sana ni wakulaumiwa. Labda kama Wizara ya Elimu mmefanya hamasisho ya kutosha, wazazi na wale wahusika kwaelewa kwamba huu mfumo unafanya kazi hivi, ama labda baada tu ya kuzinduliwa ukaanza kufanya kazi pasipo maelezo vizuri kwa yule ambaye ni mhusika mkuu ambaye ni mwanafunzi labda na mzazi.
Kama wizara na kupitia kwa vitengo ambazo zimepatiwa jukumu za kufikishia au wanafunzi hii new funding model ama pesa zao, Universities Fund and the Higher Education Loan Board wamefanya sensitization sana. Hata wanafunzi tumekuwa nao vitengo mbalimbali, mikutano mbalimbali, na bado inaendelea. Kutoka wakati ule ilianzishwa mpaka wa leo, kwa runinga, kwa njia tofauti wameweza kuelezewa, kwa sababu we are implementing kile kilitoka kwa committee ile ilikuwa ya Presidential Working Party.
Okay. Nataka kuongeza kitu. Unapoongeza pia kumekuwa na tetesi kwamba labda zipo ada ambazo ni fiche katika ufadhili huu. Moja yazo ambazo niliona wazazi eneo la Thika wakilalama na baadhi ya wanafunzi eneo fulani wakisema labda ameongeza tuition fees. Yani kuna ada fiche labda katika mfumo huu. Unasemaje?
Hapana, vitu viwili. Kwanza ulisema kwenye vyuo binafsi, wanafunzi wakichagua zile programs wanataka kwenda, ni wao wenyewe ndio wanachagua kuenda hivyo vyuo, na serikali imesema ukitaka kwenda hivyo vyuo utapewa tu loan peke yake, kwa sababu vyuo vikuu vya serikali viko na capacity, viko na nafasi ya kutosha, wanafunzi wote wanaweza ingia. Sasa wewe ukichagua kwenda vyuo vikuu binafsi, sasa wewe utagharamia scholarship wewe mwenyewe, lakini loan utapewa. Hiyo ndio sheria. Sisi hatujawakataza
utapata kama katika chuo cha kibinafsi.
Ile utapata vio nini scholarship utapata. Okay. Lakini loan utapata. Okay. Na ni kwa sababu umechagua na wewe mwenyewe ndio umedecide, mimi nataka kwenda hivi vio vikuu mimi wewe mwenyewe. Tukikuja upande huu mwingine wa kusema ati tumeongeza fees ijaongezwa. Hiyo fees ambayo ilikuwa mbeleni, ile nilisema 80% 20 ndio imebaki hiyo yenyewe. Ni vile Wakenya hawako wanajua ni pesa ngapi ilikuwa inahitajika kwenye kila program. Na serikali ikasema wacha watu wajue kwa sababu ya uwazi. Ndio watu wajue decide ufanye tuseme Bachelor of Commerce, pesa inahitajika ndio hii. Na nataka ku-illustrate ni pesa ngapi watu wanatuseme.
Nitaomba kabla tu illustrate labda nruhusu tuchukue pumziko fupi alafu tukirejea sasa utatueleza vizuri, manaka pia wengi wangependa kujua mambo hayo fadhili, na pia tukiangazia swala zima la masuala ya loan ulivyozungumzia HELB, ni jambo ambalo pia tutahitaji kuligusia kwa sana. Kwa hivyo niruhusu tuchukue pumziko fupi alafu tarejea. Msikilizaji na mtazamaji, tunachukua pumziko fupi upande zote mbili studioni. Tukirejea basi tutakuwa tunaendelea na mjadala wetu kuhusu ufadhili wa elimu ya juu. Tunaangazia mfumo mpya wa ufadhili.
Bila shaka msikilizaji unaendelea kusikiliza
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
What a run! What a finish! It's the last athletics gold! It couldn't be this dramatic, could it? Bronze in the 5,000, bronze in the 10,000. She said she was going to do the Zatopek. Nobody believed it was possible. And she's pulling away from the world record holder. This is a performance that will never be forgotten. Sifan Hassan, in her own inimitable style, does something incredible. 2 bronze medals on the track, but it's all gold on the road. Brilliant from Hassan. The world record holder is stunned in silver, and Helena Beery follows up 2 silvers on the track with a bronze in the marathon. Lokady is 4th.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
You gotta show me there's a future in this. You gotta show me something.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
we bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are certified.
Y254. Imagine.
Naam, shukrani sana kwa pumziko hilo fupi. Tunarejea katika mjadala wetu wa masuala ya ufadhili ya elimu ya juu, na ni mfumo mpya ambao tunaangazia ambao uliweza kuzinduliwa mwaka jana mwezi Mei tarehe 3 na Rais Daktari William Ruto, na malengo yake haswa ilikuwa ni kuleta ile inaitwa usawazishaji wa kupokea elimu kwa wanafunzi wote katika vyuo vikuu na vile vile vyuo vya kiufundi na anuai. Studioni tunaangazia swala hili na Bi Diana Mutisia ambaye ni afisa mkuu wa kifedha katika idara ya elimu ya juu na utafiti katika Wizara ya Elimu, na vile vile tunaye Bwana Geoffrey Monari, yeye ni CEO katika hazina ya vyuo vikuu Kipenda Universities Fund. Tukiangazia swala hili zima, maswali yako yaweke katika mitandao yetu na muda ukiruhusu tutaweza kupokea simu chache. Karibu tena wageni wangu katika studio. Kabla tuende mapumziko, tulikuwa tunaangazia swala fulani na Bwana Monari kidogo ulitaka kupeana kwa ufupi tu kidogo, uchague labda kozi kama 2-3 utupatie mfano, maana unasema si kweli kwamba kuna ada fiche ambayo imeongezwa katika mfumo huu mpya ufadhili. Kwa ufupi sana kabla tusonge mbele.
Asante sana. Kwanza ada ambayo ilikuwa ina universities ambayo walikuwa na dai mbeleni, tuseme medicine ilikuwa 720. Huu mfumo universities waliitishwa wakapatiana discount ya 15%. Sasa kama medicine wanaitisha 612. Kwenye hizo pesa mwanafunzi ambaye anahitaji ufadhili mkubwa kabisa, ile 95% nilisema, serikali itamlipia scholarship ya 428,400. Alafu atapata loan ya 153,000. Alafu kuna pesa zile atapewa za mfuko. Anatumia kila siku pocket money. Inaitwa upkeep 60,000. Alafu anapewa sasa household, yani nyumba inaweza lipa 30,600. Na ukipata mwanafunzi kama huyu, kama hana pali pengine ambayo household inalipa, anaweza tumia hata hizo pesa za 60,000 alipe upkeep. Hiyo ni medicine, na hiyo ndio most expensive. Lakini tukikuja courses zingine ambazo Wakenya wanapenda zaidi, tuseme Bachelor of Education, najua Kenya wanataka kuwa walimu wengi sana. Universities wanaitisha 183,600. Huyo mwanafunzi atapata scholarship ya 128,520 na loan ya 45,900. Bado atapata ile upkeep ya 60,000. Na imagine atalipa 9,180 kwenye university. Hapo mbeleni walikuwa nalipa karibu 60,000. Sasa huu mfumo ni mzuri ama sio mzuri? Ukikuja kwenye Bachelor of Arts, wanaitisha 122,400. Serikali inamlipia 85,680. Ile tuition loan atapata ni 30,600, na bado upkeep itabaki shilingi 60,000, na atalipa 6,120.
Kwa hivyo mfumo unaonekana kuwa kwa tathmini yako kwamba uko bora kuliko ule mfumo mwingine,
si ndio? Yes.
Okay. Asante. Nirudi kwako Bidana, maana nataka tusonge haraka upesi kidogo. Nataka tuangazie kwanza hili swala la pesa za HELB, ule mkopo ambao wanafunzi wengi wanaotegemea sana kwa sababu ya masomo. Wapo labda wale ambao wanaenda kujiunga kwa mara ya kwanza na vyuo vikuu. Kuna wale ambao labda siku za hapo mwanzoni hawajui jinsi ya kuweza kupokea ule mkopo ambao mnazungumzia. Hebu tusaidie kwenda hatua kwa hatua. Ni vipi mwanafunzi anaweza kupata HELB? Alafu tutakuja kuangazia swala la wale wanafunzi ambao hawajatimiza umri wa miaka 18. Lakini kwanza tuanzie hapo tu kwa ufupi, hatua atafanya vipi?
Okay, hatua ya kwanza ndio uweze kupata HELB loan na scholarship, zote zinaenda pamoja. Hizi mbili zimekuwa joint, uweze ukatenganisha. Kwa hivyo mwanafunzi akishapata barua kutoka kwa university ama chuo kikuu. Kuna system ambao tuko nayo, na hapo ameshaelezwa maelezo ya kwamba anaenda anafanya application, na hiyo application iko detailed, it is self-explanatory, ambao utajaza kwa mtandao, na ukishajaza unapeana details zako zote. Kama we ni yatima utasema we ni yatima, kama una wazazi utapeana details za wazazi, kama mko wangapi kwa nyumba mtapeana, wale wako universities ni wangapi, wale wako shule ni wangapi, na hiyo information yote. Ikishafikia technical officers wetu ambao wako HELB na universities fund, wao wanafanya sasa process ambao inaendelea wakati huu, na ambao tunafunga tarehe 15
mbele siku mbili
kutoka leo. Kwa hivyo wataendelea waangalie utofauti, ndio nasikia mambo ya mini testing instrument, hapo ndio wata apply huyu mtoto ni kutoka kategori gani. Kwa hivyo mwanafunzi mahali huko popote Kenya, kama huja apply, tuko na siku 2, unaenda tu kwa mtandao ambayo imepeanwa, na ukienda kama ni kwa help ndio utaingia na una apply vizuri, na ukisha peana details zako zote, kama una ID unapeana namba yako ambayo ulifanyia mtihani nayo, ambayo tunaaminika kwa kizungu inaitwa index number. Na ukisha peana hiyo index number, watu wetu ambao ni technical officers ambao wamehitimu kabisa wataweza kuendelea na kuprocess, na wataweza kukuweka katika ile kategori ambayo inastahili.
Okay, kwa hivyo kwa wale wanafunzi hawajafikisha miaka 18 wanaweza waka-apply, lakini pale umesema kwamba watatumia index number. Mahali wanaitishwa kitambulisho saa hii sio requirement. Kwa sasa index number. Kama mtu wako na waiting card, kuna wapo wale ambao labda tayari wamesha,
hiyo ni sawa, lakini utatumia index number. Na kuna mtu ambayo atakatazwa so long as you are a candidate na ulifanya mtihani wakati huo, na hata kama uko na ID ama una ID itapokelewa na itakuwa processed.
Mfumo huu ni mfumo ambao mnaweza kusema kikamilifu na ujasiri kwamba umeanza kutekelezwa ipasavyo, na kwamba wazazi na wanafunzi ambao wanawafuatilia hawafai kuwa na wasiwasi, ama kidogo pia bado mnafanya ile tunaita trial, mnajaribu. Manake kuna mzazi aliniuliza iweje kwa matayari, kwa mfano wapo wale first years walikuwa nafaa kufika shule, alafu wizara ikatangaza kwamba ile school fees ama ile karo ambayo walikuwa walipe, sasa kwanza wasizingatie hiyo, wasubiri kwanza hadi wapate circular mpya kutoka kwa Wizara ya Elimu. Hiyo inaleta taswira gani?
Hiyo, wacha nikwambie Dora, barua za kuita watoto zinatoka kwa chuo. Kila chuo tofauti mahali umeitwa. Na mbeleni kama wale walifanya last year, ilikuwa ukishapata barua yako ndio unakuja ku apply sasa scholarship, alafu na apply loan. Lakini kwa sababu ya utatanishi mingi ambazo na changamoto zile tulikuwa nazo, tukiendelea ikakuwa ni kwamba venye umesikia mwenzangu hapa akisema, mzazi akipata mtoto ameitwa kufanya kama medicine, anaona barua imekuja na 600, na yeye hiyo pesa hana, kitu ya kwanza anashtuka kwa sababu aelewi venye new funding model process iko. Na ndiposa kwa sababu hiyo utata tukaona badala walete wana apply, ndio tuende through tufanye process, ndio tuweze kukuambia kama ni band 1 na wewe uko band 1 mtoto yatima una qualify 95%, na loan scholarship utapatiwa 70%, loan 25%, na household 5%, na upkeep ni 60. Ndio barua ziliitishwa, ndio tuweze kupatia hizi vitengo mbili, universities fund wa process waweke mwanafunzi kwa ile kategori inafaa. Ndiposa barua ikitoka nje haitatoka na tuition, haitatoka na hii mahitaji zingine, itatoka tu na mzazi anafaa kulipa household peke yake ambao ni 20%. Ndiposa ukipata sasa hii ingine 70%, utakuwa umeshapatiwa scholarship tayari na utakuwa umepata loan yako 25%. So tofauti ya process ya kwanza na ya pili ni kwamba hii ilikuwa inatoka, unapewa program yako ina cost this amount ndio uweze kuapply for funding, but hii imetoka, itakuwa tumesha process. Wewe utaambiwa unaenda unalipa hii amount, ile ingine ni ya serikali ndio inalipa. Hiyo ndio tofauti.
Mwanafunzi aseme labda fulani amelipiwa pesa mingi, inategemea na kosi ambayo amechukua. Ulisema kwamba kila kosi
inategemea na ile kosi umechukua. Hiyo ndio tunalipa. This is student centered. You are doing medicine, we pay for medicine. You are doing Bachelor of Arts, you are doing BCom, tunalipa Bachelor of BComs. Yes.
Awali mlitaja, kabla pia tusikie wananchi wanasemaje, mlitaja kwamba tofauti kwamba ni kwa sasa pesa zinakwenda kwa mwanafunzi.
Ndiyo.
Pesa ziende kwa chuo. Vile tulikuwa tumezoea anapokea kiwango kingi kinatumwa. Hebu zungumzie vyuo vya anuai na vyuo vya kiufundi, zile TVETs. Awali kulikuwa na ile tunaita capitation. Kiwango ambacho najua kwa mwaka kila mwanafunzi alikuwa anapata shilingi 30,000. Na ni kitu ambacho kidogo wapo wazazi ambao wanauliza kwa sasa kwamba ile capitation na shilingi 30,000 mlikuwa mnapenda kila mwaka imeondolewa kwa hawa wanafunzi, mmehuisha mpango mzima ama vipi kwa hawa ambao wanauliza swala hili la capitation katika vyuo vya TVET?
Capitation inaendelea tu kwa wale wanafunzi ambao walikuwa ule mfumo mzee ndio unaendelea capitation, lakini huu mpya capitation imetolewa sasa, wako na scholarship. Na hiyo scholarship ndio nataka nikuelezee kwenye hivyo vyo kategori ya kwanza wanapata 92.5%. Ukumbuke kuwa fees yao iko ndogo kidogo, inakuwa 67,000. Sasa wao ule mtu wamepewa, wale yatima wanapata funding ya 92.5%. Alafu kwa hiyo scholarship bado inabaki ni 70%, loan wanapata ni 22.5%, household inalipa tu 7.5%. Na pia wanapata upkeep ya 18,600. Kategori ya pili wanapata support ya government ya 88%, scholarship ni 60, loan ni 28, household ni 12. Alafu wanapata pesa ya mfuko 17,600. Ya tatu ni 82% funding, serikali inawasaidia. Scholarship ya 50%, loan ya 32%, na nyumbani wanalipa 18%, na bado wanapata pesa ya mfuko 15,600. Alafu kategori ya 4 serikali inawalipia 78%, scholarship ni 40, loan ni 38%, nyumbani wanalipa 22%, na bado wanapata pesa 14,600. Ya mwisho ni 73% government support, scholarship ni 30, loan 43%, na household wanalipa 27%. Upkeep bado wanapata 13,600. Sasa unaona serikali haijawacha mtu wote nje, na ukumbuke hapa ndio kuna Wakenya wengi wanaenda, kwa sababu ukiona wanafunzi wote ambao walipata kutoka hata E mpaka C wanaweza ingia kwenye hivyo vikuu hivyo vyo vya TVET, na wote wanaweza kupata huu msaada. Okay. Ndio.
Safi, ningeomba labda tuende upande wa pili tupokee maswali machache labda kutoka kwa wanafunzi na wazazi.
Ndio.
Alafu tutaweza kumalizia manake tuna dakika kama 8 ya kuweza kutamatisha mjadala mzima huu. Kwa hivyo Rashid, upande wa pili wapo nanipata, kama tunaweza kupokea simu kama 3 ama 4 hivi alafu tuweze kusonga mbele. Kwako Rashid. Rashid? Haya, ningeomba mwelekezi wangu pia nisaidie kidogo niweze kupata sauti.
Inakata kichwa yangu ni kubwa.
Haya, kidogo nafikiri zipo changamoto za kuweza kumsikiza na kumpata Rashid vizuri.
Dora, mimi nawapata vizuri tu sana. Mimi nawapata vizuri tu sana.
Haya, kwa sasa tunakupata.
Bila shaka msikilizaji, ni fursa yako sasa uweze kuuliza maswali mawili matatu kulingana na mjadala ambao uko hewani, ufadhili wa elimu ya juu. Kwa haraka upesi msikilizaji, kuna jumbe nyingi ambazo umezituma kwenye ukurasa wetu wa Facebook, lakini kwa sababu ya muda wacha nishike simu unapokuja hewani kuwa mfupi sana wa swali. 0700176699. Hello Radio Taifa. Hello Zinga. Jambo nyingi. Omar Baba Zainab kutoka Nandi Lesos.
Nandi kutoka Nandi Kaunti.
Swali lako.
Swali langu inaenda kwa Diana Mutiso. Ningependa kujua hii new model, kusema uhakika wanafunzi wengi wamejiunga na chuo kikuu, lakini swali langu, niko na mtoto ambaye alitifaa akiwa first year na ni zamani kidogo, ataweza kuapply akitumia hii new model?
Alright, asante kwa swali lako. Hello Zinga.
Hello.
Yes.
Nauliza.
Yes, unaitwa nani kutoka wapi?
Ni Bernard kutoka Butere.
Swali lako Bernard kutoka Butere.
Hiyo percentage ya mzazi kulipa inakuwa indicated kwa barua.
Okay, anauliza the percentage ya mzazi kulipa, is it indicated kwa barua? Hello Zinga. Hello Zinga. Mzuri sana.
Voyo hapa kutoka Kericho.
Karibu sana Voyo, swali lako.
Nimezana kwamba hizi wenye wanapeana hizo loan za help, mbona wasiharakishe? Maana unapata mtoto ameapply anapata baada ya 1 year.
Okay, simu ni nyingi lakini Dora kwa sababu ya muda niachie hapo kwako Manya.
Shukrani sana Rashid Mwamkondo upande wa pili, na nafikiri wageni wangu mmepata maswali na kama mjayapata nitawasaidia. Swali la kwanza lilikuwa kwako Bi Diana, anauliza msikilizaji mmoja kwamba yeye kwa mfano na mwanafunzi ambaye alidifaa ama aliacha kusoma kidogo, yapata nafikiri miaka 2 iliyopita, anaweza aka-apply kupata scholarship na funding kupitia model hii mpya?
Idora, asante sana kwa hiyo swali kutoka kwa Bwana Zinga. Na wale wengine wako na swali kama hiyo. Ningetaka kusema nataka kurudia venye nilisema hapo awali. Hii new funding model iko applicable kwa wale wa students walifanya mtihani 2022 and 2023 now. Lakini kama alidifa anaweza akaingia university, lakini atapata tu loan ya help ya kutoka kwa help peke yake.
Ndio,
lakini sio scholarship.
Asante.
Yeah.
Na kwa sababu umetaja mambo ya help, sijui nani atajibu hili swali. Kuna msikilizaji kutoka Kericho anaitwa Voyo amesema kwa nini wakati ambapo wana apply help inachukua muda mrefu sana kufikia mwanafunzi?
Wakati mwingine unapata sisi wote tunaishi Kenya, unapata pesa zimechelewa kutoka wafadhili, sio kwa sababu wanapenda, ni kwa sababu lazima tulipe ushuru sisi wote, alafu hizo pesa ziwekwe pamoja, alafu ndio walipe. Na saa nyingine si hata sio hivyo, unapata kuna shida ambao unapata account za wanafunzi wakipata pesa mara moja wanatoa pesa zote, hizo account zinakuwa dormant. Sasa tukituma pesa mara ya pili unapata ile account ishafungwa na benki, zinarudi, mwanafunzi lazima tena aende activate account ndio pesa zitumwe. Sasa kuna changamoto nyingi katika hiyo process ya kulipa. Ile tunasema tu HELB inajaribu kabisa kulipa wanafunzi mapema ndio hao wanafunzi waendelee na shughuli yao ya masomo. Ili la pili, percentage ya Bernard aliuliza itakuwa kwa wenye barua. Barua hizi zinatoka next week. Ile itaonyeshwa ni ile pesa ambao mwanafunzi atalipa. Ukitaka kujua breakdown utaenda kwenye mtandao ndio utaonyeshwa ile breakdown, scholarship ni ngapi, loan ni ngapi, kwa sababu hatutaki vile zile barua za kwanza zilitoka zikaleta changamoto. Tunataka sasa tuwe very clear ni pesa ngapi unatakiwa kulipa.
Lakini bwana Monari utakubaliana nami
ndio zisaidie.
Tunaingia katika era ya kidijitali hatukatai, lakini bado wapo wazazi ambao wakati unasema ende kwa mtandao aangalie apate breakdown. Kwa nini basi labda asipewe tu katika ile barua? Mzazi anasema nimepokea barua, niandikiwe kile ambacho mimi nafaa kulipa.
Si ndio hiyo tunasema ataandikiwa kile ambacho atalipa peke yake. Hatutaki kuweka vitu mingi ziwachanganye.
Lakini akitaka details basi atume mkono wake angalie.
Mtoto anaweza print lakini sasa tunataka kuwa very precise, tuseme enda ulipe 6100 kwa sababu tukibreak down vile nimekueleza, wengine wanachanganikiwa, wanaanza kusema sasa mnataka nilipe 1200. Hiyo ndio imeleta shida.
Sawa.
Sasa tutakuwa very direct, tuseme mzazi lipa 6000.
Nataka tumalizie mjadala manake muda naona umetupatia kisogo, lakini labda kwenda mbele. Ninyi kama wahusika wakuu wa shikadau, Universities Fund, HELB, wote kwa pamoja, vyuo vikuu, mnafanya vipi kuhakikisha kwamba mfumo huu kwa hakika ni mfumo ambao tunao hakika utakuwa sawa hadi kuelekea mwisho na kila mwanafunzi mnavyosema atapata haki ya elimu? Na sijui kama pia mfumo huu utaweza kutatua baadhi ya shida ambazo tumeona katika vyuo vikuu hasa vya umma vya pesa, migomo ya wale waadhiri na kadhalika. Bidayana.
Yes. Kama wahifadhi ama idara na vitengo mbili zote za high education na university fund na government as a whole, hii program ni program ambayo ni ya kipekee, na nataka nielezee wa Kenya ya kwamba hii ndio program ya pekee ambayo imehappen kwa mtoto Mkenya ambao anahitaji elimu na kwa wazazi kwa jumla. Manake it is affordable. Serikali imejitolea mwanga. Pesa tunaendelea. Revenues, we know that we have challenges, but the government is giving a priority kwa funding ya hii new funding model. Kwa hivyo mahali mwana Kenya yote yuko, mwanafunzi yuko, mzazi yuko, achukulie maanani na ajue ya kwamba yule mtoto anataka kusoma atasoma kwa sababu serikali imejitolea, na sisi mahali tuko kama officers tunafanya juhudi yote kwa ensure hata hizi challenges ambazo tunapokea kutoka kwa Wakenya tunazitatua. It is a working progress to improve the program.
Asante.
Yeah.
Bwana Monari, hoja zako tu za mwisho, ujumbe wako kwa Wakenya kuhusiana na mfumo huu na wale ambao wamekuwa na wasiwasi na iwapo watakuwa na changamoto labda kuelewa wafanye vipi?
Mimi nasema hivi, watu wote ambao waliuliza huu ufadhili mwaka uliopita wote walifadhiliwa. Hivyo sisi tunawaomba Wakenya wote wakuje waombe huu ufadhili, wale ambao wanahitaji huu ufadhili, kwa sababu serikali imejitolea, imetenga pesa za kufadhili hao wanafunzi. Ndio kila mwanafunzi ambaye anahitajika kwenda kwenye vyuo vikuu ama vyuo vikuu vya NOI apate ile education ambayo inatakiwa. Ukipata shida yoyote, enda kwenye huduma center across the country, utapata ofisi ya HELB ama hata ya KUPS. Utasaidiwa, usiwe na wasiwasi, wewe jaza form, mengine uachie serikali itakupa hela. Asante.
Sawa. Nafikiri kwa sababu ya muda tuomba tukomee hapo kwa leo, manake ndo najua kuanzia tarehe ngapi mnasema mwisho tarehe 15, sio?
15.
Kutoka pale kama kutakuwa na masuala ibuka tutahitaji tena mje tuweze kuangazia swala hili tuweze kuelewa zaidi, sio?
Asante.
Tuko tayari.
Asante. Asante kutenga muda na kufika. Mtazamaji wa Channel 1, shukrani zaidi kutenga muda wako studioni. Pia ningependa kusema asante kwa Bidayana Mutisia ambaye pia tumekuwa naye hapa. Yeye pia ni Chief Finance Officer kutoka State Department ya Higher Education and Research, ama ukipenda pia afisa mkuu wa kifedha. Asante Bidayana, na vile vile bwana Geoffrey Monari ambaye pia yeye tunasema ni CEO na Secretary wa Board of Trustees katika masuala ya Universities Fund. Asante bwana Monari kufika. Shukrani wapiga picha wangu na waelekezi. Asante producer wangu bwana Geoffrey Onditi, Dennis Chisaka kwa kuweza kufanikisha makala siku ile, na kwa kweli kutizama. Mola kiridhia takuwa na kipindi kingine labda tofauti kidogo, lakini inakuwa ni kwamba ushirikiano mkubwa wa Radio Taifa na KBC Channel 1. Asante kufuatilia mazungumzo, nikurejesha studio za Radio Taifa na Rashid Mwamkondo na upande wa pili wa Channel 1.
Ni aje mam, umeupdate token meter yetu?
Ai, kuupdate token meter yetu? Hiyo ni nini?
Acha nikuchanue mam, leta simu yako. So, kuna hii text tulipata from Kenya Power. Kwa hiyo text kuna code 2. Weka code ya kwanza ku reset token meter. Alafu weka code ya pili ku update token meter.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunongwa. Hadija ai, nani especially ukisonga.
Julia, nisha hivyo eh? Ni sawa tu endelea.
Kisha nini? If you like, take me to High Court, sue me, or take me to court of appeal.
Well, until everything comes back to normal, we just have to make do.
Teacher, that is unacceptable. This is not what we signed up for. This environment is worse than approved school.
You mean you still bruised over that mad incident? Grow up.
Well, did you have a mad fight?
I wish I could do that.
If you ask any man if he has gossiped before, he will answer with a loud vehement no.
Yes.
But of course we know that is not true. Men gossip.
All right, thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Dagwa, and we get into yet another segment right here on Good Morning Kenya. And with me, I have two ladies, and we'll be looking at the topic of women in leadership. That is what, not really, women in business rather, and that is what we'll be diving into this morning. If I may introduce my guests from my immediate left, we have Nelly Mulema. Nelly Mulema is the president, Gospel Blooms International, and then we also have Queen Katembu, and Queen Katembu is the deputy president, Gospel Blooms International, and they are just here to talk about the Gospel Blooms International as well as women in business, because that is what they do. They mentor women in business as well. Welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I may allow you, maybe if I may start with you, Nelly, just tell me about Gospel Blooms International.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Pastor Nelly Mulema, and I'm the president of the Gospel Blooms International. Maybe to just bring clarity on that, Gospel Blooms International operates under Gospel Centers International, which is a church registered in Kenya, and the bishop is called Bishop Charles Mulema Kinusu. And so the church is right here in Nairobi at Feather Estate, and we have other branches all over Kenya. Actually, we have about 26 branches spread all over Kenya. We have a branch in Utawala, we have a branch in Mombasa Road, Machakos, Mombasa, Kwale, all over Kenya, up to 26 churches. So we operate under the Gospel Centers International, and this ministry, Gospel Blooms International, we have a vision which is fulfilling the Great Commission with excellence. Actually, we drew it from our church because the vision of our church is fulfilling mission fulfilled with excellence. And so we draw our vision from there. So our vision basically is to empower women, the all-round woman, and we operate with 7 pillars. The 7 pillars I'm going to talk about is the Christian woman in the marketplace, meaning we want to address the issues that women are facing in the marketplace. We know the challenges women go through. You are a lady and you know the challenges that we go through. The second one is develop and mentor women. And we're going to talk about this developing and mentoring women, and Pastor Queen is going to be addressing that at length, mentoring and coaching women. The other one is socioeconomic development, because we know women are disadvantaged in when it comes to economic empowerment. For a long time, women were left behind, and so economically we are not empowered. And we know the focus, especially in the government of Kenya, has been about women and empowering women. Now, we wanted to bring this closer in the church. What are women doing in the church? Are they economically empowered? And so we want to see, to ensure that women are empowered also in the church, because I think women in the church have been left behind. So we want the women in the church to be at par with the women outside the church. And then the other one is about women in business. Women run businesses and the know-how is not very clear on how to run businesses. We want to do legit business. We want women to run businesses. We don't want women to start businesses and they collapse. We want women to start businesses and they thrive and they're succeeding. And then the other one is women and health, because we know health and women is key, it's very critical that women are living healthy lives. And then of course, because we are in a church setup, we are looking at the spiritual growth of the women, because when women are grounded spiritually, we know then the rest of the things are taken care of. And so we take care of the women also spiritually. And now I want to ask Pastor Queen, or I come back to you, because we want to look at this in a deeper way about this program that we run. Among the 7 pillars, 6 pillars that we are talking about, which pillar are we now running with to ensure that we are succeeding?
Okay.
Thank you.
And before we get into that, maybe if we can just know when exactly did this initiative begin, and where was the need, or what was the need for it to begin? Yeah. Queen.
Okay, when we started the church sometimes back, we felt like just as it is, mostly women are there to support their spouses and maybe bear children. But as women who've been progressed well in our professional work, we realized that we can bring the same skills that we have in church to make sure the women in church also thrive. And through the vision of a bishop's wife, I decided to bring the women together and think through on how can we make women do better and succeed even in church, and see how we can empower them so that they also grow their families, they also succeed out there. And we realized a good thing. We met together, we developed a plan and a strategy and see how we can be doing together. And she started with the leadership, especially the wives of the elders, the wives of the pastors, and we've been thinking through. And we piloted, and it has done very well, looking at the woman, what are you going, the challenges we are going through, and discussing together. And we built each other, because, for instance, like, I knew her before we got married, and we've been married for a long time, and we've raised our children well, because we realized women, when a that because we are, and we realized that focusing on the women, we are going to cause our ministry in church to succeed. And we looked at the areas which women are mostly affected, as she has said it. One of it will be looking at their spiritual life. Do they grow? They just don't go to church and support their husband, but they're also concerned about their own spiritual well-being, their own well-being as a family, to raise godly children, and to raise citizens who are well and are going to be useful, even in the marketplace, in business, and things like that. So it started, when did it start the GBI ministry?
When the church started, we actually began the ministry, and in a small way, and it's been growing for the last about 19 years. It has blossomed, and we can see the fruits of what we've been building over the years. And we are running, the women ministry in hundreds, actually about 1,000 women. When we have our conference, we gather up to 1,200, 1,300 women. That is including the girls. Because we start mentoring the girls right from age 6 going upwards. Why are we doing this? We know that we know that when we take care of the girls at that tender age, we are sure of the outcome. So we start from Sunday school and going upwards now to women, elderly women like us. And we've seen what God has done through this program that we've been running.
And just to add on that, just before, as we add on that, you know, normally people are sometimes people can use scriptures to intimidate women. And we are told that you need to be submissive, you need like submission means being quiet and just being listened to. But we came up with this vision, and we felt even the leaders in church, they're seeing the benefit of how empowered women can actually contribute to the success of the church. So we are trying to change the narrative where people feel like the submission means being silenced. And we are trying to change that to ensure that women are active in church and they have God-given gifts within themselves that they can actually contribute to the success of the church.
And speaking about that, you know, speaking of the fact that, you know, sometimes people use scripture to try and you know, put the woman down and try to box her, you know, with the fact that you've said, you know, when you're expected to submit, sometimes they look at it as you're supposed to be this
quiet,
this quiet person, you're not supposed to be heard, and so on and so forth. So this is among the challenges that women face in business as well. So maybe what are some other challenges that you've realized women are facing, you know, in this, and how are you trying to counter that?
Some of the challenges that women are facing actually financial. Financial challenges for women is big. It's big time. Because we know when women, when they have these challenges, financial challenges, they're not able to take care of their children. The children are not eating well, they're not going to school, they're not dressing well. But when a woman is financially empowered, then all those things are taken care of. Men tend to think of the big things, you know, the projects, you know, buying land and buying houses and buying cars. And they forget this. Not that they forget, that is not how they are wired. They are wired. They are not wired to deal with the small things. You can imagine if you leave your children to your spouse, what is going to happen to that child is they may not eat well, they may not go to school, they may not dress well. So when we empower women, when they're empowered financially, we know that the family is taken care of. When women are empowered financially, we know the nation is taken care of. And because women know how to take care of the little that they have, they do so much with the little that they have. The other challenge is actually families staying together. When women are not enlightened on how to bring up their families, how to submit, and I'm not saying submission is intimidation. I'm not saying submission is suppression. We are only saying that we need to have the women to be empowered but still be submissive, because that is according to the word of God. The women can be submissive, but they are at the same time empowered.
The Proverbs 31 woman is an empowered
woman. Exactly, the virtuous woman. If I am empowered, if let's say I have a very big job, does it mean I'm not a wife at home? I'm still a wife at home. I know where the boundaries are. If I'm in my place of work, I operate as a leader in the marketplace. But when I go back to my home, I still remain a wife and a mother to my children. So what are we saying? The challenges is that many homes break because the women do not know how to take care of those boundaries. They crisscross, and when they get home, they become bosses, and you know what happens. There are many divorce cases. Even in the church, we have divorce cases. We have separations in the church. We have children getting into drugs because the wives or the mothers are not taking their role in their homes. So that one of the challenges is separations and divorces, and we need to be taken care of that. We want to take care of that families are staying together. Maybe we want to talk about one of the other challenges.
Yeah, and just to say that when we realize we have challenges that we need to deal with, is the reason why we came up with a structured way, because one of the challenges as women we have is maybe we talk a lot and a lot of talking, but we don't have the backup we really like structures. And at the GBI, we came up with a structured way of building the women's capacity with a program we call Women Builders Program, that we identified what are some of the areas that we feel women need to build their capacity on, and when they go through the program, then they can be graduated, and we monitor them and continue monitoring them. And we say since we started the program of Women Builders, we've graduated over 1,000 women and girls, and some of the modules that we have within that women program, actually we have about 9 of them. One is developing your personal vision, because even if you are doing a business, you need to be able to know where you are and where you want to go and what you need to do to reach there, which is a good thing that helps women, so that when you are a woman, you don't just wait to go to school and get married and have children and your life ends. We need to build women to know they can have a personal vision for themselves and for their family. Of course, even their vision also need to fit within the family. And not only that, we also look at something we call the wheel of life. Very important. Sometimes as women, you can find that you are growing in one area, especially in relationship. You are taking care of the children, you are taking care of you are worried about the relationship with your spouse, with your in-laws, and you spend all your energy following on that. And you forget that you need to grow yourself as a social person. How do you maintain a healthy relationship with friends? At workplace, how are you growing your mental capacity, your spiritual capacity? So that, and we use some metrics to measure how you are growing in each. And then you realize that I think spiritually I'm not growing because I'm not spending a lot of time reading the Bible, or maybe in my business I'm getting the same income, it's not growing. And where you see where you are having shortfall, then you begin to invest in that. If you feel maybe you are not investing a lot of time with your children, you spend a bit of time to your children so that you can also grow in that area. Then we have the area that we call self-development. Very important. Self-development is something that you as a person you need to develop yourself. Even in the workplace here. Sometimes you can find a lady they're enrolled in a place as a secretary and they retire as a secretary. We say as a Christian believer, you're supposed to progress, and that's what we're telling women. If you're doing business, maybe selling tomatoes, you need to develop a vision and see yourself maybe having maybe a small supermarket towards growing to greatness, not just remaining in the same place. And that self-development has really helped people. And I've seen people saying, yes, I joined my husband in this business and I discovered I needed this capacity that I didn't have, and I went to school and got that towards self-development, not developing the family, but also think about yourself. Then we have also another module we are calling the power of a praying woman. As she mentioned, we realize as a Christian woman, you cannot do without praying. You need to pray for your children, pray for your family, pray about everything, because we are spiritual people and we believe that everything around us, we can also address it through through praying. Then we also look at women and leadership. Encouraging people into leadership. Don't just sit there and you never want to lead. Don't aspire for anything. You just feel, no, that's for men. That's, and we have many of women who are like that. And especially in the church, as we said, we have this belief that women should be, be submissive. And submissive, that means being down. And we are trying to change the mentality of the women in church. Can you inspire, even if you are working in somewhere, can you see yourself being that boss? What are you lacking in that position? Can you work hard and develop yourself, self-develop, build yourself the skills so that you can grow and aspire to be a leader? Then we also look at dealing with the past wounds. Women are really hurt. And some of them you find maybe you are hurt by a boyfriend, or maybe you are raped, or something happened when you are growing up, and that wound has still been there. And we are developing ulcers, the sickness around you. And sometimes you don't know, maybe some of the things you're experiencing, or you seem to be attracting the wrong people in your life, is because there are some wounds that you've not dealt with. And even when you take them to the business, I know you've gone to buy some tomatoes somewhere and somebody asks you, how much are they? Can you see they are written there? They're already projecting their wounds on the business that they are doing. But when you deal with your wounds, you're able even to do good business, you relate well with people, you can smile to people, even at workplace, You can actually sometimes, I don't know, when you are working, you find somebody asking, how is the mood of the boss? Because, like he also came with a mood. All of us are dealing with the past wounds. The wounds are not only for women in church, women everywhere, they have some wounds. Maybe some of them, they were affected when they were growing up, maybe an abandoned father, a father who abandoned them, or something happened. And we help them to deal with them and take them through a process that you can reflect. When I was growing up, am I bad with relating badly with men or with customers because of something I went through when I was growing up? How can I deal with it? And you find yourself healing from that. And then respecting boundaries, something that I love, respecting boundaries, because you realize sometimes we are not succeeding in the marketplace, in the business, because we don't know how to respect boundaries. We don't know, if you'd see somebody's here, I can gauge that is she adding value to my life, We continue staying with people, keeping people around us because we feel like, oh, I need to be a nice girl. I need to be a good person. No. We are telling them, if a relationship is not healthy, please put a boundary on it and move on. And then lastly, we talk about my family and my home and my family. Telling yourself, how do you take care of your home? Because you cannot succeed out there, but at home you're not succeeding. Ensuring that you create an environment that is good. We also tell people how to dress for the wherever you are going, because we say that you are addressed the way you are dressed. You know, if you dress anyhow, then you are going to attract anyhow people. So we actually try to make sure that package, the program is taking care of the woman all around, so that when you step out there, you are actually a distinctive woman. You're not just any other woman. You want to create a mark, because we have so much competition. Everybody is a graduate. Everybody has done masters. Have done so many things. Everybody
what
can.
Makes you stand
exactly.
out?
What stand you stand out? And so these soft skills that we try to impact on the women that make them stand out. And we are saying, if you are a person who has passed through a program, then you must be distinctive. You must show that you've passed through that program by what you are giving and sharing with the others out there.
Yeah. And now you've talked about women in leadership positions. What is the importance of that, of just empowering women into taking up leadership positions? Because as you said, most times women feel suppressed. They don't want to come out and bring their outer selves, and some of them are really, really good leaders it out. So what's the importance of just empowering women and letting them know that you can occupy space? You know, you can become a leader. Yeah.
Okay. Me as a person, I believe women can be very good leaders, and they are. And the only thing is that I think because of our cultural backgrounds, where we've come from, we've been told women cannot lead, women are not supposed to talk. Personally, where I come from, women are supposed to be silent. You're not supposed to talk when men are there. And so because culturally we've been oriented like that, then we think that leadership only belongs to certain class of people, or it belongs to the men, or it belongs to those who went to school. I believe a woman is a leader where she's placed. Where I'm planted, that is where I'm a leader. And so why we are so, we really want to bring out the leadership in women is because we want these women to come out and be what God made them to be. Because when God created us, he made all of us in his image. And so what a man can do, I can do. I remember when I was working a few years ago, leadership to be given to men, and I'm left because maybe I'm busy doing other things. I'm busy giving birth, I'm busy taking care of the children, I'm busy taking care of my husband, and maybe I miss work. Twice a week I'm not at work because my focus is on my family and not my career. And so when it comes to career, then we are telling women you can lead. And I think research has shown that women are very good leaders. And therefore, if women are doing very well outside there, and in Kenya, I think the focus is now on women leaders, developing women leaders. How much more in the church? We want to develop women so that they become good leaders. They can lead as men can lead, women can also lead. And this is what we are really pushing. In the church setup, we've seen women coming up and leading. Actually, in ministries in our church, in businesses, they have come up with businesses and they're leading. We believe women can be very good leaders. We believe women can make a difference when they are taken to leadership. Especially even in organizations where women are leading, we know that there's less corruption. And I think you believe that. There's less corruption because they are very careful. They are good stewards of the money that God has given unto us. And so for us in GBI, we want to encourage women and to develop their capacity to become good leaders, not just leaders. We want to develop good leaders. And I want to tell you, in our church, we've been given that opportunity.
I'll have to cut you short. Let's take a short break and then we'll be back in a moment.
joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevakishwa. Sio wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Siku zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavyojiri.
Kuyajua hayo mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwengineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutakishaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako. Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
Give up. This is not the end. I said it. My husband won't leave this house, and no doctor's going to come here. You're wrong, Melina. You may be his wife, but we are his daughters, and of course we're taking him to a clinic.
What are you doing still standing there? You have got to be there beside Olegario and watch the tests while the doctor does them. If they detect the poison, then you know you'll be in a lot of trouble.
Be honest, and I want you to tell me the truth right now. What did Dad tell Amparo that was so serious that it forced her to marry Reynaldo? Come on, tell me the truth.
Las Bandidas.
Julia, nisha hivyo eh? Ni sawa tu endelea.
Kisha nini? If you like, take me to high court, sue me, or take me to court of appeal.
Well, until everything comes back to normal, we just have to make do.
Teacher, that is unacceptable. This is not what we signed up for. This environment is worse than approved school.
You mean you're still bruised over that mad incident? Grow up.
Well, did you have a mad fight?
I wish I could do that.
If you ask any man if he has gossiped before, he will answer with a loud vehement no. Yes. But of course we know that is not true. Men gossip.
Alikuwa amechukua steering wheel na kiti ya mbele, yani kiti ya driver.
Ilikuwa ni kaa ya nani? Gari nani?
Ilikuwa na gari ya wewe mama Mwende.
Mlikuwa hapo nikiwapelekea?
Hapana.
Alafu na mbona unaongea vitu ujui?
Lakini oni wewe hiko pale ne.
Turaena au toka hapo bwana usingetee.
Kwa nini hiko?
Sasa huyu ukimwongelesha lugha yako anaelewa.
Kwa hiyo information mimi sina gari.
Very good. Kwa nini unaleta chiherere hapa? Why?
Chiherere? Footage inaonyesha vizuri wewe tu vile aliingia ndani ya gari, akangangara, akatoa, akafunga, alafu anamwambia mimi ni cherere.
Mimi ulisikia mimi ndio nimeiba hiyo kiti na nimeiba hiyo steering. Kulingana na ule mama ambaye mlikuwa mnafanya mnavunja sheria na yeye unamwekea gari. Kumbe wewe ulikuwa na sitaki story. Nini? Jibu swali yangu.
There's something on my mind, on my mind. I just can't get it right, can't get it right. It doesn't go away, it doesn't go away.
Nishukuru enyi waja wangu, Mungu anatoa ahadi. La in shakartum, kama mtanishukuru kwa kichache, kwa kingi, basi nitawazidishieni. Na pia anatuambia wala in kafartum inna adhabi la shadid. Inaitakikana ndugu Muislamu, ndugu mtazamaji, uwe ni mtu ambaye kwamba unamshukuru Allah tabaraka wa taala kwa kile ambacho kwamba Mungu amekupa. Usiwe ni mwenye kulalamika, mbona napoishi kidogo tu. Hapana, shukuru.
Likulli umazatin lumaza alladhi jamaa malahu wa attada.
All my life I know you've been guiding me. You're the one who knows my destiny. I'll be alright, I'm sure that you'll look after me.
All right, so as you can see on your screens right now, there's a project happening at the moment, and the president is in Gusii to launch several programs or projects rather. He's there to launch several projects, and right now he is beginning with the one at Nyaribari Chache, whereby he is launching the Nyaribari Chache Cancer Center, and that is happening live right now in Gusii, as you can see on your screens. As I've mentioned, the president is there, and he'll be launching several projects in Gusii, starting off with the Nyaribari Chache Cancer Center, and that is happening right this very moment. As you can see, it seems like it's a groundbreaking ceremony at the moment already. So that is the project that he is launching right now. That is the launch of the Nyaribari Chache Cancer Center. Now, if we may go back to our conversation, I had two women with us in studio. We were talking about women in business. And before we took that break, actually, we were just talking about the importance of empowering women into leadership positions. And there's something you were talking about before I cut you short.
Yes, thank you, Vivian. I was saying, as we recognize the importance of developing women leaders, because culturally we've been oriented to think that women cannot be good leaders. Women cannot lead because of where we've come from. Personally, where I come from, as I said, when men talk, women keep quiet. And so we grew up with that orientation that I cannot lead because of where I've come from. And because from childhood you are told, no, it's your brother to do it. So as a woman, then you coil back and you are not able to move forward. But after now going to being exposed to the world, and then we realize, oh, we can be good leaders. Women can lead. Yeah. We've seen women in parliament. We've seen women who are pastors. And so we came out and we've grown up to where we are. And we do not want other women to go through what we went through, coiling back and not doing what God created you to be as a woman. So we said we want to give back. We want to give our shoulders to other women to stand on. And by doing so, then we develop the women to be leaders. Because we believe that women are good leaders. They are better leaders. And they can do so much with the little that they have.
I'll have to cut you short again. We'll head back to Gusii. Gusii, where the president is in Gusii at the moment as we speak, and as you can see, he's on the screen, so let's get to him.
zetu wa kule ili tuunganishe usaidizi wao na usaidizi wa watu wa Badea na serikali ya Kenya ili hapa Kisii tujenge Center of Excellence ya mambo ya kansa ama saratani. Na leo mimi nimefika hapa kufanya hii ground breaking. Tayari tuko na contractor hapa. Tumempatia kandarasi. Na tunataka hii kazi ikamilike ndani ya mwaka 1.5.
Mapema nikuje nianzishe hii kitu ikiwa iko tayari. Hii cancer center, nyinyi mnajua ya kwamba kansa imekuwa ikitatiza wananchi wa Kenya sana. Watu wengi wamewekwa umaskini, watu wengi wamepoteza maisha yao, watu wengi wanatumia pesa nyingi katika matibabu ya mambo ya kansa. Na ndio sababu hata katika program yetu ya mambo ya universal health coverage tumesema matibabu ya kansa tukienda mbele sasa tutaiweka katika mpango ambayo kila Mkenya kupitia kwa bima ambayo tutakuwa nayo inayoitwa Critical Illness Fund. Sasa tutakuwa na pesa ya kulipia kila Mkenya mambo ya matibabu ya kansa. Tunaelewana jameni? Unajua pale mbeleni wale watu wenye uwezo walikuwa wanaweza kulipa matibabu ya kansa, lakini mwananchi wa kawaida hangeweza kulipa matibabu ya kansa, na wananchi wengi walienda hata wakaamua kwenda tu kukaa nyumbani because they cannot afford ama hawawezi kulipa gharama ya hospitali. Na ndio sababu hiyo tumesema ili tulete usawa kwa mambo ya matibabu ya Kenya lazima tuwe na mpango mpya, na ndio sababu tumebadilisha sheria. Sasa tuko na Critical Illness Fund ambayo itasaidia wakulima, itasaidia watu wote wa Kenya, wananchi wote wa Kenya waweze kupata matibabu bila ya kuulizwa pesa yoyote under our new Universal Healthcare Program. Tumeelewana ndugu zangu watu wa Kisii? And ili kazi hiyo, matibabu hiyo iendelee, we must have the right facilities. Lazima tuwe na cancer center kama hii tunajenga hapa. Tuko na moja Nairobi, tuko na moja Eldoret, saa hizi tunajenga hapa, tutaweka ingine Mombasa. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba we have enough facilities ya kutusaidia
Right, as you can see, the president is right there addressing the people of Nyaribari Chache. He is on a Kisii development tour. He will be launching several projects, and as you can see, he has begun with the Nyaribari Chache. Okay, our voice is back, so let's get back to the president.
Kwenda India ama kwenda nje ya nchi, tuwe na matibabu yao hapa nyumbani, hapa Kenya. Watu wa Kisii tunakubaliana jameni? Tunakubaliana? Unajua wakati nilienda Saudia, watu walikuwa wananiuliza huyu jamaa ameenda kufanya nini? Sasa mimi nimekuja hapa nimewaambia tuko na bilioni 3 ya kujenga hii facility kutoka marafiki zetu wa Saudia, benki ya Badea na serikali ya Kenya. Tumeungana ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba we build this facility. Na nimemwambia huyu contractor, mtu anaitwa Deuri, ya kwamba hii kazi lazima ifanyike ndani ya mwaka 1.5. Na kazi watu watafanya hapa wa kwanza ni vijana wa hapa Kisii. Nyinyi watu hapa, nyinyi ndio wenye hii kazi. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Nyinyi wangwana, mko tayari kwa hii kazi? Mko tayari? Kazi yote ile itapatikana hapa mtafanya. Sasa bwana Deuri, uko na watu wafanya kazi wengi hapa. Na mimi nataka hii kazi isonge mbele as from today. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba this project ambayo ni ya muhimu kwa mambo ya matibabu ya Kenya inasonga mbele. Watu wa Kisii, mimi vile vile nimefika hapa kwa sababu ya mambo ya affordable housing. Kwa sababu hawa vijana wanataka ajira. Vijana tuko ama tuko? Si mnataka ajira? tumesema mbali na kufanya kazi hapa, pia naenda kuanzisha nyumba ya kwanza 270 hapa Nyaribari Masaba. Nitarudi baadaye hapa Nyanchwa. Tuko na nyumba 10,000 ya kwanza ya kujenga hapa Kisii. Na hiyo nyumba 10,000 tunahitaji vijana zaidi ya 20,000 wa kufanya hiyo kazi. Ninyi vijana wa Kisii mko tayari kwa hiyo kibarua? Mko tayari? Tunahitaji watu ambao ni architect. Tunahitaji quantity surveyor. Tunahitaji mason. Tunahitaji steel fixer. Tunahitaji plumber. Tunahitaji seremala. Tunahitaji fundi. Tunahitaji hata mtu ya mkono. Mtakosa hiyo kazi yote, mtakosa kujipanga hapo ndani. Mtajipanga hapo ndani. Jamaa mnipange na hiyo ya steel fixer mimi. So hapo utajipanga na hiyo. Tunaelewana? Tuko pamoja jameni? Vile vile mimi nimekuja hapa leo pia kwa maneno ya stima. Najua Kisii bado tuko na pengo kubwa ya mambo ya stima haijafika kwa nyumba ya wananchi wengi. Na hiyo program nataka niwaeleze, tumeongea na marafiki. For the last 1.5 years, I have engaged many friends. I have been to the EU. I have been to Brussels. I have been to Paris. And now for Kisii County, tuko na pesa bilioni 2 ya kuunganisha stima watu 31,000 wapya hapa Kisii County. Nimekujia hiyo kazi. Si tulikubaliana kazi tuendelee naye? Ama tulikubaliana namna gani? Si kazi isonge mbele? Hiyo kazi ndio nimekujia hapa na kazi zingine ambayo tumekubaliana na viongozi wenu. I also want to commit that in Kisii County pia tunajenga soko zingine 17. Tulikubaliana mama mboga pia atafanya kazi mahali kuna heshima, maji na stima. Tumekubaliana? So hiyo kazi nimekujia hapa. Na mimi niko area na siondoki mapema, niko kabisa area. Si ndio? Mpaka mimi ni wazoee. Na nyinyi pia mnizoee. Ama namna gani? Tuko pamoja? Si ndio? Nairobi nimehama sasa niko huku kwenu. Ama mnasemaje watu wa Nyaribari chache? Na mimi nataka niwashukuru kwa sababu ya kuchagua huyu Zahiri Chanda. Huyu mtu ni mtu yangu na ni rafiki yangu. Na asante sana. Sisi wote sasa katika serikali nimeunda mpya. Sasa sisi wote ni timu moja. Si ndio? Nauliza nyinyi wangwana wa Kisii, mnasema tuungane ama mnataka tutengane? Si tuungane jameni? Si Waswahili wanasema umoja ni nini? Si umoja ni nguvu? Si tuungane, tushirikiane, tujenge Kenya pamoja? Ama mnasemaje? Wale wanasema tuungane nione kwa mkono. Basi, kwa sababu bado mimi niko na shughuli mingi na leo mimi nimekuja hapa kazini, mimi nataka niwaambie ya kwamba kwa sababu mimi bado niko area na bado niko na shughuli pale, wacha niwachie hapo, wacha nimuite Deputy President atusalimie.
Muko salama? Mmefurahia kiongozi wetu amefika hapa? Rais tunasema pongezi, hii ugonjwa wa saratani umetuhangaisha kama taifa. Na familia nyingi bomba ilikuwa imesimama inakuja kuangamia. Kwa hivyo hii hospitali itasaidia watu ya Kisii na itasaidia watu ya Kenya pia. Mimi nimekuwa sijafika hapa Kisii sana. Sababu hiyo si baraka tulikuwa tuelewane vizuri. Unajua tulikuwa na yeye bunge. Tukakosana kwa sababu unajua town iko mambo mingi. Si watu ya town wanakosana. Alafu yeye akatoroka town akakuja hapa kijiji. Sasa juzi tumeketi na yeye akaniambia sasa wewe ulikuwa uniheshimu, sasa unaona mimi ni kama. Nikamwambia nimekuheshimu. Na mimi nikamwambia umeona mimi ni naibu wa rais. Akasema nakuheshimu. Sasa tumefanya kesi na yeye. Nikamwambia wewe si barati yapata cheza na mimi. Mimi bibi yangu ni pasta. Naye si barati akaniambia mimi bibi yangu ni Mchina. Kama tukaheshimiana. Mkitaka tutengeneze urafiki na huyu si barati. Tukue tukija hapa kutembea. Lakini wewe si barati hii wa Gusii ulikosa hapa ukaenda mpaka China. Ama ongeze Gusii wakaenda China. Ongeze ngapi? Watu ya kuongezwa wakaenda China hapa. Alafu huyu kijana Zahil ni kijana mzuri, rafiki yangu sana. Mtamshikilia? Mtamshikilia? Na yeye aendelee kufanya nyinyi kazi. Kwa hivyo sisi rais tumefurahi kwa hii cancer center hapa Gusii. This is a milestone in our health interventions, not just in this region, but in the country. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Haya, wacha nimuite gavana wetu Simbarati aseme jambo.
All right, as you can see right there, we have the president, we have the deputy president, and the governor of Gusii. And as you've heard from the president's speech, he's there on a development tour. He's expected to do a number of things in Gusii. First of all, beginning with what we've just experienced, the groundbreaking of the Nyaribari Churches Cancer Center. He's expected to watch over that rather, and as he said, the project is supposed to take 1.5 years for it to be done. So by 2026 he's promised that it should be done, as they have already set aside 3 billion for that particular project. He's also talked about the affordable housing project that he will be he's there on tour for, as well as power installation and building of more marketplaces over there. So keep it right here, KBC, as we'll be keeping you in tabs on all that will be happening in Gusii as the president is there on our development tour. Right now, we need to wind up on our conversation. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough time, but we'll create time for you to come back. But just to wind up, maybe if I can get your parting shot each.
Thank you, Vivian. My parting shot is that I believe every woman has the ability to lead. And I believe that if we develop the women, we are creating the change that we need in the church and in the nation of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Queen?
And I'd like to say that for sure, maybe parting a shot with my live example, that when I was in high school, I was good in science subjects. But my teacher, who came from the community, told me that science subjects are for boys. And he encouraged me to take art subjects. And instead of empowering me to be a great leader in the world of medicine, he pushed me to being a social scientist. That's why I'm here today. I should be sitting somewhere behind and waiting for you to look at you. And you see, some of these cultural norms, they hinder the business opportunities and the opportunities that are there for women and girls. And therefore, it's very important to continue this discussion and to encourage many more people. But I wanted to say that if you want more information on the GBI work and the work we are doing on the women builders, you can call us on 0725-255-941 or send us an email on info@gospelcentersinternational.com. I think we'll be able to give you more information on what we are doing here. Even as we look forward to having you again.
Yes. We'll have you back here for sure. Thank you so much for gracing our show today. That was Nelly Mulema and Queen Katembu, the President and Deputy President of the Gospel Blooms International. And this is where we call it a wrap right here on Good Morning Kenya for today. Remember, we do this again, same time, same place tomorrow, God willing. Do have yourselves a lovely day.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
What a run! What a finish! It's the last athletics gold! It couldn't be this dramatic, could it? Bronze in the 5,000, bronze in the 10,000. She said she was going to do the Zatopek. Nobody believed it was possible. And she's pulling away from the world record holder. This is a performance that will never be forgotten. Sifan Hassan, in her own inimitable style, does something incredible. 2 bronze medals on the track, but it's all gold on the road. Brilliant from Hassan. The world record holder is stunned in silver, and Helena Beery follows up 2 silvers on the track with a bronze in the marathon. Lokedi is 4th.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
Are you a talented artist, or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Have you tried any of these generative AI programs where you give it a few words and it spits out an image? Now software is turning text prompts into video. It's super realistic.